Oh, look at that. I'm live. Is anybody here? I see Snarky's here. Hey, Snarky. At least he was. He commented. 5 people are here. If anyone wants to join, the link is in the description, or here it is in the live chat. We're going to do stuff the way I used to do things when COVID first started and we started doing the live hangouts, and anyone could jump in and chat it up and ask questions or cause chaos or show their wiener if you wanted to make sure that this video never got shown again. Or you can just hang out in the comment section and ask me stuff or tell me stuff or accuse me of anything that you want. I can take it. Andy is here. Martian Murray is here. Facebook user is here. Hi, Ryan. Facebook user says, there it is. Andy says hi. Gavin. Okay, now they're starting to go quick. Sassy's here. Robot Master Switch is here. Hello, Ron. Oh, it's getting away from me. We got 38 people here. Demonic Machines is here. Hey, Demonic Machines. I'm assuming you're Lucky. Hey, Lucky. Okay. Things are coming in quick here. Eric Dodd says, wait a minute. What's happening? We're doing an old school late night hangout. My kids are in bed. My wife is away on a trip, so I'm all alone in the house. I've watched enough TV by myself that I feel bored enough to do this. And I said in the podcast launch this morning that I might do it. Oh my gosh, the comments are coming in quick. Andy says scored a JHS Limited preamp and FZ1 for $250 the other day. Nice. The preamp and an FZ1 for $250. Hey, Robert's here. Luke asks, you ever find a knack for that 3D printed guitar? I haven't yet, but I also haven't looked. I just hung up that body on the wall over here that I can see. You can see I'm pointing that direction. I've got it on the wall over there. I still have the body. Someday I'm going to have a chance to actually work on projects and I'm going to do something with it. Look.
Hey, Ryan.
How are you doing, man?
I'm pretty good. I'm looking for my headset so I can talk with even better audio. I was just chilling and I'm walking through my... Oh, there it is. Sweet. I'm going to go where the good lighting is. So we'll get the nice backdrop and the good lighting. How about that? Oh, man. It's been all right. It's been kind of a low-key summer.
Loki summer, is that like a Marvel thing on Disney Plus?
Yeah.
That's a terrible joke I just constructed.
Hot guys and hot girl summer is out. It's low-key summer now.
Loki summer. It's all about Loki, whether it be the Marvel property or the Norse god of mischief, I guess he is.
There we go.
Ethan Muter is trying to join. He's got a little icon there. And then Lucky is trying to join. Oh, look at that.
Lucky. Okay, one second. Hopefully it switches over.
To do this.
I think it's good now.
There,
Oh, should I go sideways?
Okay, I think that's the way to. Oh wow! I was gonna say no, don't go sideways, and then you did, and it fixed everything. Now Lucky's gone sideways, but the wrong way side. I'm gonna remove
Sounds about right.
Even Ethan Muter. You think Ethan Mutter? I'm gonna say Muter because it says he's muted. I didn't mute him, but maybe he muted himself. If I see his video pop up, I'll do something. Yes. Loki summer. We've made it, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Lucky, you kind of look the way that I feel right
now. So what was the plan? You were just like, we haven't done a hangout in a while. Let's do one. And we did.
Yeah, that's it. That's really it. My wife is away on a trip, like a family trip with her side of the family for a memorial service.
I have a cool base.
You do have a cool base. So it's just like don't have any reason to, sit and hang out with anyone. The kids are in bed. Might as well see who's up late at night, you know?
Oh yeah. Well,
Can I-
all of us, we're all on Pacific Coast time, so that's why. Because I'm in Oregon, Lucky's in Cali, like you are.
Yeah.
Now I
Yep.
have a cool bass too.
Oh,
Oh,
yours
crap.
is that a Longhorn?
It's a Longhorn. That's right.
Mine's the Schecter version of a P bass, but it has the painted headstock, and their house pickup is like a quarter pounder. It's really cool.
Oh
Trying
wow.
to get it in frame, but yeah, they like custom wound their own in-house like quarter
That's not a
pounder.
Bass, Lucky. What do you got?
I don't
there?
have a bass, but this is a baritone 7-string.
Ah, okay, close enough. Close enough.
Yeah. And
So
it's
is a lower string B on a 7-string?
No, I forget what it is. It's whatever would be
Right.
what
Right.
be fifth.
Be like F sharp or something, I think.
I don't remember. Yeah, F sharp. Yeah, that's right.
Right, right.
Yeah. So it's like
I just did theory in my head.
yeah.
I'm very
I
proud of
mean, I don't
myself.
know.
Snarky
yeah.
is here.
Hey, fellas, what's going on?
I got
Hey.
this.
You recognize this, Ryan?
Yeah, I do. That's the guitar you bought when we were out at Sweetwater.
Oh, it's got
Such a-
crackle. I like
Such
crackle.
a cool finish. Let me see if I can
Enhance.
I'm gonna isolate it.
Oh,
There we go. That's
Hold that.
it.
Do it again. Do the sweep. Do the sweep
Now
again.
let's see the guitar again, Snarky. Hold it up. All right.
Close enough.
Miller Custom Guitars is here as well.
What's
Hey
up, bud?
man, how are you doing?
Doing
Speaking
great.
of Sweetwater,
Yeah.
I'm gonna change my graphics.
I just
in the
sent a
background.
pedal to Sweetwater. I guess a sales rep bought a used pedal of mine. Someone had fried it,
Oh no.
and so I get an email from Sweetwater, but it's a customer email. So it was very confusing. And then the return address, I'm doing the opposite of Sweetwater. I'm sending something to them. And so
Are they gonna use? Well, why do they need it for a repair? Just
it
to
was just a
replace
guy. It's just like an individual contacting me, but he did it through his Sweetwater, like his work email. And so it was this confusing set of circumstances, and I didn't catch it right away because the phrasing in the initial email was something like, I bought this from a customer, and I was like, oh, dealership opportunity, perfect. And then
Right,
I looked,
right.
I didn't see the email until after I had sent my response, and I was like, this is a Sweetwater official email. What's
going on here?
Yeah.
Do whatever it is
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, it was kind of a fun little event.
So
Oh,
was
you
he was buying it for himself?
Yeah,
As well.
he understood he was buying both a B stock and a unit with issues. Maybe somebody somewhere was like, take this off my hands for whatever. And no, so all my stuff is lifetime warranty. Just send it to me and I'll fix it, whatever's wrong with it. And basically I just pull everything out, put the new stuff in because it's easier than trying to troubleshoot and just.
Gotcha. So he bought it off of a customer. He was sending it to you for repair.
Yeah. And
Gotcha.
yeah. And it was just this random thing. I was like, I don't think I'm quite to Sweetwater dealership level of production yet.
Most are not.
Yeah.
No.
I
think
that's a long
bridge
journey.
to go. Yeah.
I think they ordered something like 40 or 50,000 quad Cortexes or something like that, and they
Dude,
sold them all.
The numbers that
Oh,
that
God.
you have to like it. It's a thing where like if
Top tier.
there's a lot of brands where if they got picked up by Sweetwater, it would put them out of business because it would be too much growth too
Totally.
quick. Like you wouldn't be able to fulfill the order. Like
Yeah, it'd be 2 years of work. Like
yeah,
you couldn't do it. Yeah.
and then like if you know how like stuff breaks. You know, some switches
Yeah.
fail, things like that. Sweetwater claims they have a really high like QC standard. Like if something gets returned more than a couple times with like a new product that they've covered for the first time, they're like, well, they'll just drop it. They won't put up with it. So it's like everything has to be so tight. Like you have to have huge numbers, like production numbers, or be able to provide huge production numbers, and then you have to have your QC like way tighter than I think most like small builders could even contemplate, like how many numbers of things they have to check, you know, like And that's not. I'm trying to make sure that's not a slight on small builders because I don't mean it that way. But it's like,
No, it's something to be aware of that I think is
Right.
a lot of people don't realize. Because a casual customer might ask, "Oh, can I buy your stuff from Guitar Center Sweetwater?" Is like that comes with a lot of strings and is a very complex relationship down the road. I mean, that's
and from what I've understood, like the builders that I've talked to, snarky fellow, there he is. the builders that I've talked to who have made that transition, it's a little bit of a catch-22 because you think like now I've made it, I'm going to sell, tens of thousands of units at a time or something like that. But then when it's all said and done, you realize your profit margin is so much lower per unit that like you're almost taking a couple steps backwards while making more. And
I think it's something important for people to remember too when you look at the pricing of a product. Like I know there's been criticism of like JHS pedals in the past that are over $200. Well, it's like once you account for dealer cut and especially
$200 is the norm now. $200 is just where they start.
Right,
$100 pedal is a budget pedal now. That's the reality.
Yeah, next year it'll be $300 pedals or budget pedals.
No, next year we're going to be trading for pelts and go juice.
Oh, okay, that'll work. I'll be paying my rent and shroot pedals or something.
Right. No, that's my plan. Some people have like workers' comp and stuff like that. If I ever get taken out and I can't make videos for a while, I'm just going to sell stuff. That's my workers'
Good
comp.
way.
That's my retirement plan right now. Just hoard pedals until I'm 68 or 72 or something.
Do you not have a day job, Ryan? Is this like your main source of income, or do you have a day job?
This is full time. I do this
for real?
100% of my life now, and it amazingly pays the bills, and I even put some money in savings sometimes. It's incredible.
I would take that.
For doing something involved with music, it's an incredible success in my opinion.
Yeah, this summer has me wanting to transition back into having something consistent but part-time. So I'm gonna start probably doing. There's a local outfit I can walk to doing high-end pastries for coffee shops. So just something to cover the existing bills.
Cookie.
To not be the swings with something people may not realize. Like summer is like a dip for small builders, and then it's like this all year. And so this summer was brutal.
It's been a big dip on the YouTube side. It's been a really big dip. Fortunately, like it hasn't affected my finances, but as far as like viewership and subscribership and stuff like that, like I was like really hauling really good numbers through winter and spring, and then like it dumped, and it dumps every summer, so I'm used to it. Like, there's the summer dump, and then it comes back September, October, But
I think
it's the weather. People are doing other stuff. They're not, they're not locked inside bored, like trying to chase, a serotonin high,
Yeah. And I think
that's how it is.
I think last year we were dealing with, it was kind of the first summer where people could kind of go out in public, but it's still masked some places, some not. And travel was still restricted. I think this is the first, like, almost completely open again summer. Yeah, and I think that's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing.
40-watt podcast.
40 watts in the house.
Hey, Philip.
What's up, y'all?
What's up, man?
Why are we up this late?
It's 9:40
like 9, dude. It's not even 10 yet.
I could go crack a rock.
It's almost midnight. I've got coffee. I'm fine.
I got a show I'm going to be seeing this week. It's like a big show, and it's like right down the street. I don't even have to take time off from work. Brad Paisley is playing at Ironstone Vineyards, which is like, it's like, 20 miles from my house. And so I don't even have to take time off from work. It's like on the way home. And I don't even like country music, but like Brad Paisley's like playing like right there. So
He's got one of his cookies.
I think he's an exception. I think Brad Paisley gets a pass.
Yeah, dude can play.
Hey, Ryan.
Yeah, it's like
hey, Snarky. Or look at Snarky's cookie here.
I love how Snarky just keeps passively showing us his cool gear and stuff. Like, hey guys, check it out.
That's cool. That'll be a pretty fun show, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's like,
his.
I'm just
waffle
going
pedals,
for the
too.
gear and the tones. It's like, and like here's the deal. It's like he's gonna have like the most badass band of all time.
Oh yeah.
Like his band is gonna rip. It's like it's gonna be a good time, even if I'm not down for the music. I don't know any of his songs, but he totally rips, and his band is gonna rip, and it's gonna be a good time. And yeah, so and I don't have to get a hotel or drive 2 hours to go to San Francisco or whatever. It's right in my backyard. So
I enjoy every live performance I see. Like I just enjoy it. Like I've been thinking about that lately. Like I've gone to a lot of shows in my life, but I tend to what is it, cookie hour? I tend to go to like dive bar, like indie punk sorts of shows, like very small surf shows and things like. Not that there's big surf shows. Like the biggest surf shows are pretty small. But like I go to very niche interest sorts of concerts. I very rarely find myself at bigger kind of mainstream known quantity type shows. And I've been thinking like I've probably been missing out because the production quality on a big show has got to be amazing.
It is.
And they've got to have it hammered down to be like a incredibly entertaining thing. My youngest sister goes to these sorts of things all the time. She'll go see, Billie Eilish or Taylor Swift or whatever. And I bet it's amazing. I never go to those types of shows.
Do you know what else those shows have?
Like pyrotechnics?
Massive amounts of people. Just
That's
massive amounts of people.
But I don't know. I'd probably be looking for the balcony seat and be like, I'm just gonna watch, watch the sea of people or something.
You know what my sister went and saw? My sister went and saw BTS.
Oh, really?
She drove all the way to LA and saw BTS on back-to-back nights.
Whoa.
Had the time of her life. But man, those people are raking their fans over the coals. For tickets, and then the swag you have to buy. You don't have to, but you have to. Right?
Well, if you don't, were you even there? You
buy these like glow pod things that you connect to Bluetooth, and then the fans become part of the light show, and they're like $60 a pop.
Whoa!
Yeah, they're not,
and you can only use them once, huh?
They're like the cheapest plastic.
It's like a $2 Amazon thing,
right? But they're Bluetooth and they connect, and then the whole entire audience becomes part of the light show, and it's cool if you're there, but that's overpriced. And come on, man! But yeah, she totally had a good time.
I saw Coldplay and they did that.
Oh, cool!
Yeah,
it's really cool technology. And my wife actually showed me a TikTok a few nights ago of a concert where everyone was wearing those wristbands and stuff. But I just want to give that technology credit where credit is due. The band Man or Astro Man, the bassist is like a circuit guy, and for a lot of shows he was making these little radio frequency detecting LED things, and they would sell those as merch. And it was a circuit board with an LED and a watch battery and something. I think they would sell them for $10 or whatever, hand them out to the whole, sell them to the whole crowd. And he had a radio frequency going that would sync the light. So it's kind of the same thing, but it wouldn't sync it to the music. He had it synced to just like a rhythmic oscillation. So they would like an equal amount of them would be red or green or blue at the same time, and the room would be pulsing that way.
Nice.
I feel
and
like
that was like a DIY version.
I feel like a more efficient way would be to create an app and have everyone download the app and just hold their phone up. Yeah.
But the thing is, like a lot of concerts,
you couldn't charge everyone $60 when there's 7,000 people at your show.
Charge it in the app.
A lot of concerts now, guys. A lot of concerts now are taking phones and putting them in phone bags.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
So like they don't want you. Like I went to a comedy show that did that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
I get it for comedy. I totally get it for comedy. But for like,
because you don't want to like leak their act or whatever. But like, I think I've heard of it happening for music too.
Yeah.
They don't want bootleg stuff, And they're these beefy bags. I bet that those concerts you can actually just check your phone and there's like security thing for it or whatever. But like they're these beefy bags, and they do like this magnet seal thing on it, so you can't open it, and they're like wrapped in, they're like foamy and furry inside, so like they muffle all the sound and whatnot. Like kind of intense.
That's
I
wild.
have Satriani coming up next month. I got to go see it live. I'm a lifelong fan, but I never managed to get tickets that were anywhere close. Yeah. Oregon is a weird market for shows because it's between Seattle and California, so usually it'll be some weird weeknight, like a Wednesday night,
right,
where it doesn't line up great if you have a normal job. But yeah, no, I'm excited.
It's weird that we're talking about this right now because just today, like,
Dude,
I saw like three concerts pop up on Facebook. Like, oh, I want to go see that. Like, Daikaiju just published their tours and they're going to play here. I'm like, I'm going to go see that. And then They Might Be Giants published a teaser for them playing here.
Okay, that would
at Humphreys by the Bay.
Lucky's excited about that. He's
like, I think they're both in set. No, They Might Be Giants is for next year, like March or something like that. So I'm probably gonna try to get tickets to that and do like a date night thing for They Might Be Giants. And there was another one I can't remember, but I want to like. I'm excited to start going to shows again, and I think I'm going to go to a lot more shows than I used to even before COVID because like I had young kids and they're getting older now and they observe bedtimes and stuff. Now.
Also, maybe we appreciate it a little more.
You know what? I think I do.
Yeah, I'm actually going next weekend. Kelly and I are driving up. We're going to go to Chicago and see Ariel Posen in Chicago with Scott from the Effects Loop.
Oh, that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Snarky just super chatted $10. Thanks, Snarky, just for taking the time to do this. Thanks, Ryan. Thank you, Snarky. Thanks for being here and hanging out.
Snarky's a bro.
Yeah, he is.
I was going to some skate punk shows in Portland. They had like a skate punk revival, like 90s. Some of it's the actual acts that were 90s skate punks coming up and doing. It was like you go see these shows with 100 other people, and it was pretty fun. I was doing that for a minute. One of my friends is a drummer in a local band, and so I was getting free, and I was like, oh, I'm roadie. I carried in a hi-hat stand, so I get the concert for free.
I was trying to take. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I thought the story was over.
I was gonna go ahead.
The lag makes it impossible.
Yes. I feel like I need to take advantage of the Memphis music scene a little more. It's still a little ways for me, but the Memphis like DIY and indie music scene is something I've never taken advantage of. But now I feel like I'm going to be that old guy in the back. Oh,
yeah. But
I don't want to be that.
I'm fully accepting.
We can't help it, man. We are the old guy in the back now.
And I'm fully accepting my impending transition into being the weird, eccentric old guy that goes to like grunge punk shows in some kid's basement and like like some noise outfit that's like breaking glass over a microphone or something like that, and I'm standing in the back and I've got some sort of denim vest with patches all over it and stuff, and I'm just like who told that guy about this show? And it's all high schoolers.
But grandpa's at the raves.
Right, exactly. I've been thinking like I need to look up like what all ages venues there are right now because I want to see what the kids are doing. I want to see what music the kids are making right now.
There's the Che.
We went and
There's
saw.
always the
There's
Che.
always the Che. There's always the Che. I mean,
well, we went and saw Styx, in April or something like that, and I'm like 40, and I was in like the bottom 5% of youngest people there, or like there were some people that had brought their like little kids, but I was definitely among the youngest people.
That tracks,
the bottom
though.
5%. Yeah. So yeah, that was
it's funny when I go.
We're not that old.
It's funny when I go to shows that are like this band is at this point a straight up 1990s nostalgia act. Like
I gotta say though, Styx held it down though. Styx rocked the house. They played for 3 hours. They hit every note. They played every song. They had a little break in the middle. Styx still rocks, man.
But it's funny to go to like shows like The Presidents or like Camper Van Beethoven, and I look at the audience and I'm like, okay, there's no new fans here. They're all people exactly like me. No one
Yeah.
older, no one younger. Like, it's
Go to
just
Wheatus, dude.
that 3-year range of people that fell in love with this band when they were on the radio in 1997. You
A
know?
lot of white people in this building. A lot of
I've
white
got
A
people.
lot of flannel, a lot of like,
I've got a buddy of mine, Jimbo Mathis, is a guitar player singer in Squirrel Nut Zippers.
oh, fun.
And they're back together and touring. Like he did this whole like Americana blues thing for a while, and then they're back touring as Squirrel Nut Zippers. And I have to think that those shows are exactly that. It's all those people who remember the Squirrel Nut Zippers from the 90s.
And you know, a couple of them can still dance. Not all of them, but a couple of them are still going to try to dance.
They're still going to
Yeah.
do it.
Like,
Depends on what shoes they got. Then you'll know if they can dance.
So there were like different. Steve and I already talked about Swing Revival like 2 episodes ago or whatever.
Right.
There were like different scenes within that Swing Revival sort of thing. You lost Snarky, so I'm just going to take his camera out. If he comes back in, I'll let him back in. Like there were like the very straight laced, like homeschool dance squad kids, and then there were like the definitely drink their parents' boxed wine mixed with, you know, Kool-Aid, punk rock leopard skin collar type like people into Swing Revival, like the punk show Swing Revival thing. Like it was like this weird separation. And it'd be interesting to go to a Squirrel Nut Zipper show because you know that there would be representation of both groups.
I mean, there's a big crossover with like rockabilly and.
Right. But it wasn't quite rockabilly. It was more like a bleed over from like ska and pop punk, you know, like that weird kind of bleed over from that. Like it wasn't the rockabilly thing, because the rockabilly kids were almost like they were joining up with the square homeschooler dancers types, you know.
Anything that has horns, man, it's like that is an era.
I was gonna be a trumpet player. I couldn't make my mouth work right. In 4th grade, I took trumpet for a year, and I wanted to. I figured I was reading sheet music. I was doing it. I could read it with my fingers, but I couldn't make my mouth work right. Nicola Shabetta super chatted. I hope I didn't murder your name. $4.99. When did it matter that you were younger / older than the crowd around you? It doesn't matter. That's the point. But it is, you know, when a crowd is a majority of young people and there's like an old dude in the back, like everyone notices them.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
And you knew, and you remember what it was like to notice them, and now you're them. You know?
Yeah, that's it. That's the thing. I remember what it was like to notice.
Oh my
the old
gosh.
guy in the crowd.
Oh no, it can get better.
Oh, here we go.
We got to get
All
costumes
right, come on, let's see the whole thing.
Here we go. Oh,
he's gonna lace up some wingtip. No.
Oh, big
lady.
Yeah, tipping aggressively, super chatting aggressively. No, I was like, I have a fedora somewhere. We're talking about ridiculous genres of music.
If you break out a trombone at this point, I'm done.
I was gonna say my first instrument was trombone, and I got braces in 7th grade. So I did jazz band and regular band. Got braces and lost my embouchure because my whole mouth reshaped. And I couldn't play trombone ever again. And I was reading sheet music, doing 2 bands. I was like, they said, nobody's taking up trombone right now. The high school already take you. You can get in with the college. Like, we need horn players on trombone. Nobody's doing it. So I was like, could have wrote my ticket.
Yeah.
If I had been able to learn trumpet in 4th grade, like I was trying to so intensely, to learn it, and I couldn't. If
Your whole
I had
career would have
succeeded,
been different.
I would have been a 14 or 15-year-old when ska first started having that moment.
Yeah.
And I would have been fully 17, 18, 19 when it was kind of like cresting its peak, and like anyone who had a horn could join a punk band and turn it into a ska band sort of thing. Like, I would have been in ska bands if I had learned to play trumpet the way I planned. Like, it would have been perfect. It would have been perfect timing.
It's even funnier though, Ryan, because all the trumpet players I know from that time period, because we're about the same age, all of the trumpet players I know now play guitar.
Right.
So you just still found your way to guitar.
I always
I'm
wanted
sure I would've.
saxophone. I wanted saxophone, but they were too expensive. So folks were like,
Yeah.
well, your uncle has a trombone, so you're going to trombone. So it was like, there was no.
I own
I
a
got
saxophone.
saxophone.
I own
Yeah.
a saxophone. I need to get it recorked. It was my brother-in-law's, and he's like, "You guys want this thing?" I was like, "Yeah, I want every musical instrument that's handed to me." So thank you.
No. Oh, I feel that.
Yep. Absolutely.
I found a
someone waiting
video
to
of
get
my.
in.
You know what's awesome? Is the
Ethan's here.
baritone-
Hey, Ethan.
Baritone
Hey.
ukes. Those
Camera
are
wasn't
cool.
working before.
Baritone ukuleles are fun.
I want
Yeah.
a baritone. I want a
Those are cool.
baritone mandolin, a mandocello, real bad.
I want.
Oh, those are cool.
I want
Mandocellos. That's
an
like
8
Sarah Jarreau's place.
I want an
Rocks that.
8-string ukulele. They're so pretty sounding.
So it's like a 12-string nylon,
I've
but
got
it's
an
half,
8-string ukulele.
2/3.
Do you really?
Yeah, you want to see it?
Well,
Yeah,
Yes,
bust it
they're-
out, bro.
they're awesome.
Show and tell.
The answer to do you want to see it is usually yes.
Yes.
There it is.
What?
That's so awesome.
Dude, that is baller, bro.
I was almost expecting you to pull out a double neck ukulele. The music's not going to come through. StreamYard
Oh.
mangles music in a
Big sad.
terrible way. It does great for voices, but music just sounds like garble, 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 garble. It's
I think
awful.
what I want more than anything
Oh,
is
that's
like
exactly
a
what I was
baritone
playing.
acoustic.
What?
Ooh.
A baritone acoustic.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
I know that
yeah.
they exist.
There's
I
Andy
think
love
so.
McGee. Andy
I love
McGee
my-
always used to have one.
Who
There's
did?
a scratch and dent Alvarez baritone acoustic
those
at
are-
my
yeah,
local
okay.
shop. That, but Alvarez makes an acoustic baritone
What?
that's like $380.
Dude,
Oh,
I
wow.
have
You know-
380
That's pretty
bucks.
cool.
Dude,
I've
Alvarez
done,
has
a,
one.
I've done a bunch of repairs lately. I have like 380 bucks
and,
sitting around.
and it's a really good instrument. I really enjoyed playing it. So highly recommend.
have a visitor.
Yeah, you do.
Ryan, do you remember the
Almost the same as my 12-string Alvarez.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, they're really
when it was
really
all slapping and
I have
tapping
2
acoustics?
visitors.
It was like 4 or 5 years of
Okay,
Candy
Peter
Rat
Kids.
Records, like aggressive slapping, tapping acoustics and open tunings and the Andy McKees and the everyone else of that world. And it was like
Jackie
all
King
anyone
and
did. That was
Yeah.
even freshman
August
year.
Rush.
Yeah, August Rush.
Yeah.
And people were discovering that your acoustic is a drum set. And
Right.
it was
Have
If
you
you-
seen the guy that he gets a display at NAMM sometimes, and it's just an acoustic guitar body without the neck, and it's meant to be a drum?
no, that's amazing.
Like it's just an acoustic guitar body with a F hole in it and everything. Obviously, it doesn't have a bridge on it or anything else, but it's like this is a cajon that you wear.
Yeah.
It's a
thing.
cajon, guitar-shaped cajon. That's
It's a
awesome.
guitar, and I was like,
That's awesome.
I get that it's an ergonomic shape, and people are using acoustic guitars as a drumming thing, but shouldn't you reinvent the shape? Because it's like, just buy the guitar.
Right. Well, headless wasn't enough. We had to take the neck off too.
Right. No, like just literally like go buy go to a pawn shop and like beat on a couple guitars and be like, I like the way this one sounds. Take it home, cut off the neck. Like sand off everything else and just why would you buy it as a product? Like it would be so much more legitimate just to buy the cheapest acoustic guitar you can find
did
and
he-
just
Did
take
he
a
at least
saw to it.
add a snare? Like a cajon has a snare in it
I was
sometimes.
just saying it's a wooden box. And I wouldn't be surprised if there was a snare in there. I think
Actually-
it's probably one of those snare brushes instead of like
Right,
the snare
right.
thing that goes across.
If it has a snare, I'm super into it. I'm not gonna lie.
Me too. That's awesome,
I'm
dude.
super into it.
Sign me up.
But still, I think you can make it. I think you could find the snare component and put it in yourself.
Oh,
Dude,
that's
what's
so
that?
rad.
Look at that. This
That's-
is a 30s guitar. So it
Old
has the like
Craftsman or
tell.
a K?
yeah, no, it's like a old like Hawaiian brand
Yeah.
Oh,
acoustic
Let me see
that
the
my
body.
great grandpa had. Yeah, so it's
Oh, look at
It's-
that.
it was
Would
set
you
up for
look
nylon,
at that?
but it had steel strings on it too long and no truss rod, so it warped the neck over time.
Yeah.
But my great grandpa did this repair. Where's the rivets? We got to find the rivets.
Rivets.
It's amazing.
Ooh.
There's straight up like rivets that put it back together. And my mom
That-
took this to Africa in the 80s, and then my grandma gave it to me. So this thing is super old. This is like
Yeah.
100 years old.
Yeah, that's
But
a family.
what a
heirloom
look.
thing.
What a
Yeah.
look at the
Dude.
uh,
Dude,
that
that is
headstock.
so awesome.
They need to bring that back. That's a good look.
Yeah, well,
it
the
is a
difference
good
is
look.
that's probably legit tort, and
Yeah,
not
like actual
code
from
tort
a-
like we have now.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
illegal
Right.
tour.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
turtle is probably still alive too, just swimming around with a headstock shape missing out of its
Ryan, do you
mouth.
remember the church, like the worship scene, like in the early 2000s, whenever everyone got into the hyper triplet strumming thing, like Shane and
Right.
Shane.
Yeah.
Oh God. You gave me that when you started talking about the tapping thing. I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh,
God,
right.
PTSD
No, there
to
was-
that moment.
There was a period of time when I was going to a lot of like open mic nights and stuff like that because I had friends that were doing it. And when that started, like, because like there was a couple late night shows that had people come on and do that thing. Like you'd see it on Conan or something like that. And people just started doing it. And it's like, okay, this is a fun trick and it sounds really cool for about like 3 minutes, but you just played 4 songs of this, and there's people who can make these things songs and you're not doing it. Like
Right.
you're just beating on something at a certain point, you know?
Exactly it.
Yeah. I like when I am still incapable of it when people do they basically like break it down as a composition and play like the rhythm part and like the bass line and the melody, and they're doing it all with one hand on an acoustic and it sounds like the whole thing. It's like the old classical thing. You're like playing 3 parts at once. It's like I can do one.
Yeah.
You get palm mutes and you get wheelies and that's all you get.
Like
in
anything,
between.
like there's people who do it really well, and then there's the rest of us, and I'm definitely in the rest of us column as far
like
as
the
the
whole
I've done.
like the whole Tommy Emmanuel thing, like where he's the whole band, you know, and he's actually playing guitar and we're just like pretending.
Right.
When I was in college, there was a guy I knew who was in like this super like hardcore band in Memphis area, but he went to school down where I did in college, and he was a piano player in college, but played guitar in this band. Well, one day he picked up a guitar and just sight read a 4-piece piano part. I was like, what? That just that does not compute. It's like, I don't understand who you are or what you're doing anymore. Those folks who can play those multiple moving parts, their brain functions on a level mine doesn't.
Right.
If I sat there and looked at sheet music, I would be able to follow single note runs. And I'd probably be able to pick it up in about a week if I did it every day, like just stared at sheet music. But when I look at the chords, like, no. How am I supposed to process that? Like I can look at single note runs and like, well, there's my scale across the fretboard, so here I go. I know how to make my way across that. But then when the chord is happening, I don't know how people do the mental gymnastics to do that. I'm impressed every single time.
I couldn't do it well, but I couldn't sight read. But eventually you learn to recognize the patterns. But that's in like normal guitar sheet music that I played. I'm not talking about some of these crazy folks playing 4-part harmonies that are like moving like that. But like when you're reading it, you start to recognize certain shapes the same way you recognize the chord shapes on the guitar. Or say in tab, like you see that minor shape or the minor 7 shape. You recognize it on the tab before you ever play it.
Totally, I guess that's true.
Happens on notes,
and that's that's actually more complicated because you're looking at 6 places where it's like 12, 17, 15, 14, and you're like, and you just know what that is. You're like, oh well, there's an F shape. Like
that's exactly it.
Well, I play for I play at church, and they they're not cool. They don't give us like numbers or even chord tricks. They actually give us sheet music.
Oh god!
And I and they have for a long time. And it's got chord names above it, which is nice. But that's where the piano player comes in. I'm like, hey, what's going on over here? And they go, I go, okay, good.
Right. I was always what's funny? I remember I had a flashback just now. One of the first tabs I ever downloaded was the entire Nirvana Nevermind album, and it was like 4 pages of tabs. That's right, like the entire album, because every part was like there's like a tab that's like 1 bar for the verse, and then there's the 4 chords, and then that's how every song was. So it was like 4 pages of tabs, and you could learn the entire album, and it was great.
And the bridge had an 8-note solo in it.
Right.
I finally learned the solo to "Smells Like Teen Spirit" about 4 weeks ago, I had a fill-in gig, and they play
interesting.
"Smells Like Teen Spirit," and I realized I've never learned to play that solo, so I picked it out. You know,
That was one of the first things I learned how to play.
Really?
As a solo. That's one of the first things.
I was probably my first someone else's solo.
Yeah.
Hey,
Besides, like,
I got to
improving one
Can
badly.
I burst in real quick?
Yeah,
Lucky,
sure.
Lucky, real quick. I got to ask you a question, bud.
Yeah.
Where do you get those? The little green thing in your hand?
Rocket sockets.
Rocket sockets.
Yep.
They're the best.
Yeah, you can get them on Love My Switches. Pepper's Pedals is who originally makes them, but they're in like New Zealand or Australia or something. But if you're stateside, just go to lovemyswitches.com.
Okay.
And they're about to be blue. I'm so excited.
They're
Yeah.
blue?
They just changed production.
Guys,
1,000 sets of blue is coming.
Blue rocket sockets are about to drop. Things are getting crazy.
It was like 2 days ago he posted. Yeah, I'm
I
so
know
You know
excited.
what?
That's
I'm in
the
the
full size, but they make them for guitar size stuff, right? They make them for a bunch of different sizes.
Yeah, it's everything from the little toggle switches up through like a pedal foot switch.
Yeah.
So it's
Okay, cool.
it's everything
I mean,
between. So pots for guitars, jacks for guitars, everything.
Okay, great.
I use them to do like oil changes in my car and stuff. Like they're great.
Yeah. Well, they don't scratch the finish. It's one of the
Yeah.
coolest things that's ever
it's
been
great.
invented, and I use it every day. I talk to him about it. He follows me on Facebook, and
It's one of
I'm
the
so
coolest
excited.
things that has ever been
Like-
invented, and I don't disagree with you. You just said that about a plastic socket set.
The worst part is, y'all are not the first people I've heard say this same thing about these things. At Summer NAMM last year, went by the booth, and they had a whole bunch of those, and there were people flipping their shit over these plastic sockets.
The pedal builders and the guitar builders, they buy them for each other as gifts. When they find out they're like, you don't have rocket sockets, I'm gonna send you a set. Like it's a show of love. Like, you don't have these, let me help you.
I
yeah.
say all that jokingly, but the day I discovered these Music Nomad screwdrivers that have all the hex side.
yep,
Oh,
that's
wow.
them.
I love how like I was like, oh, we're gonna have a fun, crazy time. Just like things are gonna be so off topic. We've been incredibly on topic this entire live stream. Like,
There was a
I can't
topic.
believe it. We've grown up, guys.
We're getting older in the back of the show.
Well,
We're boring
let me
now.
find something to get off topic on. Give me a second.
Oh, there we go. You know what? I
Talk
had
about
Subway
spin.
today, which is I think the lowest tier of fast food restaurant, but I love their cookies, and they had a deal on DoorDash.
Dude.
And I had Subway today.
Okay, what cookies do you get?
The raspberry cheesecake. I'm gonna go get one right now.
Damn,
I like Subway.
I don't love Subway for their sandwiches, but there's something about them.
I haven't.
But I will say, like the macadamia nut cookies.
yes.
That's
Oh,
all
yeah.
I'll get from there, and I will never get anything else. You cannot convince me to get anything else because, like, I have
They're not
that-
even expensive.
I have that
No,
flavor
they're
They're not.
They're like a buck.
burned
It's
into
only
my
plastic.
psyche. But I think it was Aaron Abubo a while back on a post about Subway said like Subway is one of those places where you made your first order there when you were a kid and you've never changed it.
Not true.
And you just
there
you
it
keep
is.
getting the like yeah, look at that. You just keep getting and maybe every now and then you get the Italian meatball sub or whatever, but you kind of get the
Yeah.
same thing every time because you like the same stuff. Every time you're like, I like bell pepper. I'm gonna get bell pepper. I like that kind of mustard. You just kind of build the same thing every single time, and because you do that, like Subway just has like an iconic taste for everyone.
Oh,
And it's kind of like after a while it just turns into like, well, I've had this a million times. What even is this? I'm just kind of eating boredom.
Yeah. See,
Well, they had a crazy deal. It was so if you spend $25, you got a free footlong, but that includes the price of the free footlong. So it's it's like buy one get one free footlongs basically.
what?
So is DoorDash.
That feels like okay,
So you really-
DoorDash.
Okay, yeah. So
Oh,
you
okay.
only
It's like,
released
what is this
16
secret
bucks.
code you have to decipher at Subway?
Yeah, so it was like $20 delivered for 2 footlongs and 4 cookies. So it was like I'm not going to
Holy
do much
hell.
better than that. Delivered with the
Yeah.
tip.
And
With
you
the
know
$5
what?
tip.
If you get it made right, Subway keeps. You can stick that in your
Yeah.
fridge,
Yep.
and you can munch that tomorrow.
See, I'm into their wraps
Oh,
now. I haven't had a sandwich at Subway in years. I just get the wraps.
Henry is weirdly into Subway. I've taken him like 2 times, and every now and then he's like, Dad, can we go to Subway? And I think it's just because he wants the fountain drink. He just wants the soda. But like
cherry Coke, man, I would get jazzed out of my mind about a cherry Coke.
I recently discovered that certain Burger Kings that have the fancy Coke machines have Surge in them.
Ooh.
It's the only place you can get Surge in America is in those machines in Burger Kings.
Burger King has Surge in them, so you can have Surge in you.
They have
I knew that was going to hit you. I knew you were going to like that.
There's actually a website dedicated to being able to find those machines in Burger Kings.
But that frozen Coke is pretty good. I like that.
You bought them. Did you buy them?
Nice. So I'm really lucky being a pedal builder. Love My Switches sells.
No,
like,
I'm really lucky.
That's it. We don't need to scream anymore. That's not
over.
Done. It's not going to get better than that. That was it. That's all we got. Oh man.
I wish you had said that in like the balcony guys from the Muppets voice. No, I'm really lucky.
Well, yeah. My name has great puns with it too, but that was about as good as it's going to get, I think.
What were you talking about?
I was saying Love My Switches is from Portland, so anything I order from them, so knobs for pedals and jacks and stuff, it's there the next day, which is like totally by accident. When I started building, I didn't know this existed, so I got really lucky.
I was actually buying from him when he was in New York. He just moved to Portland a few years ago.
Nice.
It used to have a different name too.
You bitches love my switches.
Yep.
What?
That was really the name of the company.
Seriously, the name of the business. Bitches love my switches.
Yep.
Yup.
Yup. They send all the stickers. They send you the stickers all the time because they probably have like 10,000 of them.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh man.
Yeah, they could have made it. They could have gotten away with it and made it cute by having like a dog mascot. Like I think people would have been like, "Yeah, okay."
Well, it was just the little stomp switch. That was his icon. That's all he had is bitches love my switches, and then it was the foot switch.
We lost Lucky.
Oh no!
But like, imagine if it was like a little like cute RCA dog stepping on a switch. Then you'd be like, "Oh, it's a dog joke," you know?
Yeah, I think as society changed a little bit, that probably got a little less favorable. Plus, maybe even just moving to Portland and then you tell people the name of the business, they're like,
not gonna work.
Like, nope, not gonna fly.
Also, could have flown if it was like a woman-owned business.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm trying to think of like the exceptions because it's a great play on words.
You'd
It's
still
great.
It really is. It
you'd
really
still
is,
need an explanation, but
needs-
yes, then
right.
it would have been okay.
Right.
It could
It would
still
be
be a
humorous.
lot
but
of-
I
people
think that's
complain
only
about
like
it.
a 3-person company because I emailed them once and they're like, so and so is out of the office, so it's just the 2 of us. It's like it's a really small company that
makes
does a
sense.
lot.
Oh,
Because I have friends that order like
Yeah.
big orders of parts.
Yeah.
almost all these gear companies are really small. Like almost all of them are.
Well, you're
micro
looking at it.
companies. Right.
Well, I mean, even into the bigger companies, obviously, pre-Gibson,
Death by
I
Audio.
once had to call Mesa Boogie about an issue I was having with an amp. I call, first of all, a real person answered the phone, and then they said, "Oh, okay, hold on." I was on hold for like, I don't know, 60 seconds, and then I'm on the phone with the guy who designed the amp.
Right. Isn't that his name? Something like that?
It was a Rectiverb 50, so whoever designed
Oh, it was
that
the guy who does like the exact designer that
Yes.
made that. Wow.
Yeah, that guy.
So I have
man.
a story in that direction. When the Fender Meteora first got announced, and it was like the Telecaster loadout version of it and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I did a video crapping on it because that's what I do. I was trying to get clicks and stuff like that. And then Winter NAMM comes up, and I'm in the Fender booth. And I'm like, oh, there it is. And I'm picking up and I'm checking it out. And this guy walks up to me. He's like, oh, you like that? And I was like, you know what? Yeah, it feels all right. I had my doubts, but I kind of into it now that I'm holding it. He's like, yeah, I saw your video. I was like, oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Let's see where this is going. And then he pauses and he's like, I designed it. And I was like, oh
man. Busted.
I'm so sorry. And I sometimes wonder if that's why Fender hasn't sent me one of the Made in Mexico meteors.
Well, they know you
I
hate
wonder,
it.
I wonder if they put me on the list like this guy doesn't get one.
Dude, those look so cool, man.
Who was it? I made a video like that once, and I was like, "Ooh, this is gonna come back to bite me in the future. I'm gonna meet this guy someday, and he's gonna be like, yeah, remember that time?" And I was like, "Ah."
I was still in the place where like I knew that the small companies were small. I didn't realize the big companies were also small. And all those people watch everything. They all watch it. Like this past NAMM, one of the guys at Rickenbacker flagged me down, and he's like, "We love your video. We keep passing it around the office." And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "We love how like crazy the comment section is on it." And I was like, "Yeah, you guys probably have to deal with that all day, don't you?" And he's like, 100%.
Wow. I've only played one Rickenbacker, but it was amazing. It was.
Look who's here.
Hey,
What up, Steve?
What's going on, guys?
Whoa, look at you with your clean audio.
I know, right?
Damn, dude.
I played a few Ricks, and I hated every single one of them.
Oh.
And I'll tell you why. It's not the quality of the instrument, it's the size of the necks. They make really small
Very
necks. At least
very
all the
skinny.
ones I played.
I can't play them at all.
Yeah, I can't play them.
I
Like, but
can-
there are tons of people who love them.
So
The weird
Yeah,
thing is that I
that's-
like small necks. I like small feeling guitars.
Well, mine was the one I was playing was the 80s 12-string electric, so maybe it was slightly lighter,
yeah, I
but
played
it was
a
instant Tom
12-string.
Petty. Like I hit one chord, I was like, "Oh, this
Yeah.
plays Tom Petty songs only from now on." And
Oh, that's the sound. 100.
yeah, it's so good.
Sound. I
Yeah.
want a 12-string electric real bad, and like the sound of 12-string electric to me is
Right. a
Rickenbacker.
Rickenbacker.
But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't play them, so I got to find something else.
I think
I
my
work-
favorite 12-string electric I've ever played has been one of those Dan Electros. And I know there's two different versions of their 12-string with the same body shape, and one I liked and one I didn't. I'll have to go watch my own video because I can't remember which one I liked and which
Was it
one
like
I
a
didn't.
90s or like a version
No,
of new or just
I think
both
it was
modern?
the newer modern version one was the one that I connected, or maybe it's the other way around. I can't remember. I don't
Let's
want
play
to
that
say.
video
old ones.
evidence.
They were cool.
Yeah,
like
I
the
played
old
them
ones.
I played them at Toman. I played two different ones, and I was like, that one I connected with, and the other one I didn't connect with it. You know.
they had a double neck over Guitar Center the other day, the 12er and a 6er. And I'm like, man, for a Dan Electro, that wasn't so bad because it's lighter weight.
Right.
That wasn't as bad as some of the other ones, like the Gibsons or whatever. But
I had-
it's just too big.
I have I had a local friend. I haven't talked to him in years, so I'll say had, who formed a band where every member of the band had to play a double neck instrument.
What?
Two double neck guitars.
That's a good gimmick.
That
double
poor
neck
drummer.
bass. Double neck bass. Yeah, I don't know what the drummer did.
Two
but
kicks. He had two kicks for
Two
sure.
kicks is too normal. You got to have like two snares.
Two snares,
Double
yeah.
snare.
Yeah. Oh man. There you go.
Like a piccolo snare and like a big trash can snare or something.
It's like
I was kinda worried
instead of a
when they-
hi-hat, you have
double
another
neck.
snare. So it's
I used to want to
Whoa.
make custom floor
Whoa.
snares. You ever seen
That's
that?
an
a
awful
floor
idea
tom?
for drums.
It's a floor tom, but it's a snare, so it's a floor snare. And I wanted to make custom ones because I used to work in cabinets, and I was like, I'm gonna make custom drums because I was really into drums at the time.
Look
I feel
who's
like-
here.
I feel like,
Sassy.
I feel like floor snare could work.
yeah.
The best worst drum thing I think I've ever seen.
Great
I
shirt.
should say that I've
Sassy.
Hey.
ever
Love the
that I've ever
shirt.
been a part of.
What's
is,
going on?
Our drummer years ago, the drummer of the band Ryan and I was in, tried to do hi-hats with 16-inch crashes.
Oh yeah.
Oh right. How did it
Forgot about
sound?
that.
I don't remember, but I've from what I don't know that it necessarily sounded bad. It was just ridiculous.
Remember when
And-
he got the second bass drum that was the same size,
Oh, I forgot about that.
and he tried to fuse them together?
Make like a sub snare that was like
No,
long.
he had a Slingerland kit with a 28-inch bass drum, huge. It was like a giant
Yeah.
bass,
Yeah.
like a
But
bass,
shallow.
like a jazz bass drum. And
it's
he got a second one because why not? He couldn't fit. He could barely fit the first one in his car. How was he planning on getting this? And he was trying to figure out this hardware thing to join them together to be one.
So two things. I had Jesse from 29 Pedals on the podcast last week, 2 weeks ago, And I was telling him the story about we got on like live audio, and I told him two of the best when I ran sound at Ground Zero Blues Club. One of the best sounding bass drums I ever had come through there was a guy who had a 28-inch Slingerland bass drum, and Jesse says, "Oh," and reaches over and grabs one. Says, "Like this?" And just holds up this 28-inch bass drum. But no, one of those other times I was running sound, we had a guy. John Wooten. I do think he's one of the Wooten family. I don't know what the relation is to Reggie and Victor, but
one of the lesser Wootens.
Yeah, he had two Ludwig bass drums, 24-inch, not 28-inch, but he had connected them together so that it was this massively long, like 30-inch bass drum.
That would have been the best part with the thing that our drummer was trying to do is it was a pair of 28 by 14s. So at the end, he would have only had a 28 by 28.
Just a square.
Just a cube.
I think you get a subwoofer effect with the second drum, because that was a thing for a while. I used to be really into weird drum stuff, and it was like if it had 4 heads, you could like cut holes in some of them and then like reshape it so you get this really interesting, super deep thing. So it was like you almost like the resonance would push through all the heads, and then you'd get this interesting, super deep bass sound by the end.
Do you guys remember that moment? I don't know. It was from like 1998 to like 2000, probably 2006 or so, when
a long moment.
Everybody was doing the pork pie. There was it was like a 20-inch head, but it was 28 inches deep. It was the opposite of all of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had an OCDP that was like that. I was really into drums. I got bored with guitar. Have you ever done this where you like, I'm a teenager, super stoked on guitar. I have to take a long break. So I'm going to do synth or drums or something. And then 5 years later, I'm back into guitar and pedals and all that stuff again. But that's what I did in that.
I'm into synth right
20s.
now because I'm tired of guitar.
Yeah. Modular? Doing modular?
I'm not smart enough for that. I've got the
Me either.
the subsequent 37, the Moog. I traded an amp for it. So
yeah. I feel like Eurorack modular stuff is like, okay, so whatever you couldn't afford before, like that's this is like the extension, like the ultimate version of you will be broke from gear for life if you get into this.
I've got like 3 components, and I'm like looking at other stuff, going hundreds of dollars for this, $1,000 for this, for these little electronic boxes. They're smaller than the average pedal. I'm like, what?
It's a cool thing though. I've seen they try to explain it to me, and I'm like, it's basically like you're turning knobs on a pedal, but through electricity, and there's like cool things about it. And I'm still like, dude, I want a fuzz pedal with like 3 to 5 knobs, and that's it.
Right,
like,
right.
A helix and that's about as much as I could ever handle. It's like, oh man.
I got bored on guitar, and I picked up like violin and stuff. So
banjo, just join a bluegrass band.
I got a banjo. I can do that.
I've had one. It's awful. Don't do it.
Yeah.
I never
there's this awesome local. They're a trio of these guys, and one of the instruments he plays is one of those really nice 6-string banjos. Is like, but it's like a telly. It's like a telly mixed with a resonator. So it's like a banjo telly, and it sounds so cool. And I was like, man, it was like $1,000 for him. And I was like, oh, it's a little bit much for a novelty,
right?
Just to, like if I go to demo a pedal to show the wide masses what this pedal can do, it's like
do it on a
sounds
banjo.
Great. It just sounds really good on the banjo. Yeah, it's like this is gonna sell some units.
Why do you say that? Because I've got the Electro Faustus Super Disruptor, which will do sub 8 octaves.
Whoa!
I have my electric mandolin through it.
So it sounded like a guitar.
It sounded like a bass.
Okay.
Wow. I was doing bass lines on an electric mandolin.
Yeah. We're like the U bass. Did you ever play one of those with the real fat nylon strings?
Yeah.
Yep.
Those sound
like
neat.
the U basses. Yeah. I've seen people complain about them, like, oh, it's not very good, it's not a real thing. It's like, oh, I picked one up a couple times. I thought that felt fun. I'm sure I'm not a serious bassist or whatever, but I see people have fun on them.
Man, the exotic basses, that's another thing as like a pretty normie guitar player. you see these basses that are just crazy woods and crazy shapes, and it's like outrageous amounts of money, and it's super cool. But then some people are like, that is the ugliest instrument that has ever possibly existed. And I'm like, the bass player from Goldfinger had one of his personal basses for sale at a shop that I used to visit. And it was a single cut, like the modern single cut. They're real lumpy. And it had a Kaler for bass on it. So I would sit there before my drum lesson and play his former bass, like custom bass that he had, and put the bass Kaler, and it was fun. I was like, man.
I want a bass with a Kaler. I don't know what I'll do with it, but I want one.
You're going to pretend you're Les Claypool, like most people would.
I would imagine it gives you like kind of a fretless sound every now and then if you want it, sort of thing. Like you use
because you can vibrato in and out of.
That makes sense. That tracks.
It didn't have great range. Like you can't dive bomb it because of the length of a bass string. So you got like it's like a Bigsby. Like if you really hammer on it, you can get like 2 steps.
Right.
Yeah. Or you just get a fretless.
Or just get a chorus pedal and turn it up real far, and no one's gonna hear what key you're in anyways,
Which Ryan, was it in y'all's group that somebody posted the half fretted guitar?
Oh,
where was that?
I've seen those things before, but I don't remember if it was on.
Somebody was selling one. It's fretted up to the 8th fret, and then after that, it's fretless. I was like, what? What in the backwoods voodoo Jesus is
That's
this?
just a luthier that got halfway through and they're like, I'm done. Just sell it.
I bass like that.
See you later.
But I had a Richie Blackmore Strat with the scallops. You remember scallop fretboard was
yeah.
And so what was cool about his, and it was a really nice Strat. It's funny because I saw it on Better Call Saul, but no, I got this thing really cheap, but the scallop was really light where you would play rhythm chords. And then it's deeper where you would play leads. So like from 1st to 8th, from the low E to the D was light scallop, and the whole rest of it was heavy scallop. It was super weird.
That's cool.
Cool.
I can't.
But it was a neat piece. It's weird. I think what it was, I gave it some thought, and I think it was more before we had really big frets, because it was the 70s. Like really, really big frets didn't exist yet. So it's basically the same thing, where you're not feeling the fretboard if you press down pretty hard. And that was the solution, because there was these baby frets on the Strats, so they would scallop to get the big
That
fret
makes a
feel.
ton of sense.
Okay.
Why has no one ever actually just explained that to me?
Yeah, I've never heard that either. Thanks, Justice.
Yep.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Yeah. There was a bass at a local shop when I lived down in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, that sat there forever. It may still be there for all I know, but it was, what was it? 5-string, and it may have been 6, but it was like the 2 lowest strings were fretless and the 3 upper strings were fretted.
Yep. I've seen those.
Had to be. It was an Ibanez.
Yeah.
Super weird. Super hard to play. Like, could not play it at all.
I play fretless and fretted bass, and I thought about something like that, but just the idea of trying to reach around the strings to get to the ones you want to play, that just sounds like a pain in the ass.
There were those
guys.
Good. Oh, later. There were those guys at the last NAMM that were selling these guitars that were essentially double neck guitars, but the necks were fused together.
Oh, right.
Oh, like a tapping instrument or something?
Yeah. And so it's like there was a gap in the back of the neck where like it would have gone around to finish the neck, but then it was kind of like the double-sided popsicles that you split in the middle, but as a neck.
Yeah, it was kind of odd.
It was because like you have to reach your whole arm around the neck to get to those strings. It's like, I know there's people who can play that way, but man, it's not me. It is not me.
Has anyone ever done this? This is something I run into. So you play like whatever your main gig is or whatever your main instrument you're most comfortable on is like a 6-string guitar, right? But then you're looking at something like a 7-string guitar, a baritone, whatever, right? And you're looking at budget and you're like, well, I got to have a nice one. Like this thing that I'm probably not going to use, I got to have the nicest one that they make, because of course that makes sense. It's like, why don't you just, and now I'm 32. I'm still like, I should just buy a better guitar than the one I have that I'll probably play every day. And instead I want to spend thousands on this random instrument that I'll probably end up selling. It's like,
I just did that with a baritone. I have a baritone on order that I was like, oh, I could totally just buy another. Like I was looking at, so I sold my Dan Electro baritone when the whole Phoebe Bridgers thing went crazy and the price of them went wild, right? I was like, I'm going to make this $400 profit on this instrument.
Yeah.
And I'll buy another one later when they settle down. Well, they've settled down. And so I was looking at them and then I ordered a Grez. So
I feel like Grez is kind of the new hotness, man. Like,
yeah, it really is. Barry's also just like the nicest dude.
oh yeah.
He has been such a fun guy to talk to. So I'm super excited about it. But yeah, I did that exact same thing. It's a baritone. How much am I gonna play a baritone? I play blues, Americana, and country music.
Well, country.
Country's gonna have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
for about 6 months, I only played 8 strings. So my chording style, everything changed. And I was really into it. And then that phase ended and I bought all strats. Like I bought like 6 strats. I used to work at a music store. So it was like very, very easy. It's a small music store too. So it's very easy to like, okay, I'm done with this, put it on consignment, get another thing, put it on. It's like, but it was the 8-string thing. I think what I found is that it's really difficult to dial in an amp sound that works for that much string range.
Yes.
And there's inherent muddiness with that big of a pickup picking up that much noise.
Right.
And so no matter what I did, I found it really frustrating to get it was a metal sound, it was gent era, right? So it's like, man, this thing is just noisy and terrible, and I don't write good music on it. So I just got rid of it all and I played David Gilmour licks on strats, and I was like, this is where it's supposed to be.
Charlie, you're absolutely right. 12-string baritone. Actually, I think Lead Belly actually played a 10-string guitar where the D through high E were doubled and the E and the A were a single string. And so it was a super wild setup. I've been trying to track one down. I've played one once. I want one, but there's not many of them out there.
No, I can't imagine there would be.
Yeah, it's super rad. I did the same thing. I guess I worked for free in a small music store like that. And that was how I went through a lot of gear, is that I would hang out in the store all day, play this and own this for a little while, then be like, okay, I'm going to move this on and get something else. And I'd either trade it in and I'd get a good deal because, I'm buddies with the owner and his son, and then get something else and move on and do something else. But
that was a fun stage. I remember that very fondly. You know what I hate is this thing that keeps happening where I had a guitar like 8 years ago and I got it cheap at the time and sold it cheap at the time. And now I'm like, man, I'd really like one of those again. And it was a Fender Scorpion Esquire, which was a Telly that's thin body, mahogany set neck, Gibson scale with a single humbucker, single volume. And it was like $350 when I sold it. It was the same series as like that GT Esquire.
Oh, yeah.
So like $300 ish at the time. Sold like $1,500 now if you can find it. It's like
so Eastside Music in Nashville right now has a Mark Hoppus bass. Do y'all remember the Mark Hoppus signature bass?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I was into that.
$2,400.
Wow. I would build one. I would take apart modern Fenders and just build one at that point.
It's just a B bass. Come on.
It's just a B bass with a quarter pounder. Come on.
It's wild the things that take off, and like you could never predicted that.
No, the what is the Mastodon Brent Hines V with Epiphone? That thing was like 1 or 2 years of production. Those are one of those like $1,500 guitars now.
Yeah,
it's like
and those Squire
Jazzmaster
Jaguar baritones.
Man, I almost had one of those.
Man,
$1,000.
I wanted one when they came out, and I was like, man, I don't need that in my life.
The Hello Kitty guitar.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
But that Antigua Burst Jazzmaster baritone was really sharp, and they were like $250, and then now they're $1,500.
Crazy.
It's like it's not a $1,500 guitar. I don't care what you say.
No, it's not.
but it's still. I mean, it's still cool. Like I'm still like, just make a nice one and make it the same price. So
Yeah.
even if it's made in Mexico, I would buy it. You know, it's like,
I was price checking a Craigslist guitar on Sweetwater today. Someone was selling a bass 6, and I was like, I wonder if that's a good deal, and it was a good deal. I'm not going to buy it, but it was a good deal. I noticed when I was on there on Sweetwater searching for bass 6s, they have like $4,000 custom shop bass 6s at Sweetwater right now.
Oh,
Fender,
are they
and
sparkle?
they're like, no, they're like vintage colors. They're like a faded Dakota red and things like that, like a seafoam green. Like, and they have the mutes on them. They look,
that looks cool.
It's done that like a color and a little piece of metal that mutes the string is like, oh man, that's a cool $4,000 guitar when they're also selling a $350 version of it. And that's the thing, like, when am I actually gonna play that thing? But I'm already like, oh man, maybe I should hold out for the $4,000 one that I'm not gonna play ever.
And it's fine. Like
Hey,
I've
Ryan,
had cheap stuff and spendy stuff. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
I was just going to say Chicago Music Exchange is taking pre-orders for Squire bass 6s with matching head cap.
Oh.
They've got
They
a
are.
metallic purple and I think a Lake Placid blue. So if that's something you might check out if you're interested.
Man, metallic purple sounds
That I was like, oh man, that even for me, I'm like,
Is it going to be like a dark purple, or is it going to be like a violet, or somewhere in between? Is my question.
It's grape.
It's grape.
Great. Okay.
So it's pretty bright.
I could do
Yeah,
It's like, is it like Grimace bright, like from McDonald's?
close.
Close to Grimace.
Close.
That sounds really cool.
It is.
That's like sounds like Bootsy Collins cool.
Oh,
You know.
I'm going to put a down payment on one later this week.
How much are
So
they?
like $450.
Damn.
I'm really mad because I have a black.
I'm
I have a
looking
black
at it
Squire
right
bass
now.
6.
It's 520.
520.
But still.
I just
pretty
can't
good.
get along with those. I've
All right,
tried.
I gotta look at it now.
Over and over. I really wanted
It's
to
pretty
like it.
cool.
I just can't. You know, my fingers are too fat for that kind of
Drop-
stuff.
Drop the link in the private chat, Philip.
Okay.
I was going to search
I
for it. It was
have,
like you're already
I have a
there.
black Squire bass 6, and I'm very upset that the blue one is out now. 'cause,
It's a terrible link, by the way, because it was a Google search. So it's that super.
Oh, look at
long.
this awful link you
Yeah,
sent.
okay.
It works in everything.
Good
But, you know,
Lord.
Yeah.
Oh,
look at
I have
that.
seen that. It looks so good. Yeah, I did see that.
Here,
They,
let me,
their exclusive colors are real sharp a lot of the times.
And matching
Yeah, yeah.
headstock for the win. So
Yeah.
My favorite Fender I had that had a special finish was the oh, there you go. With the 10% off, there you go too.
Yeah.
I had a Adam Clayton USA jazz bass, which is Sherwood green, but it's sparkle. So it's like that super fine sparkle with the matching headstock. And I was like, because my goal was, if I'm gonna buy a bass, I'm gonna get a bass that I won't want to replace for like 5 years.
Right.
And of course, I ran out of money, as a lot of people do, and
Yeah.
I like had to sell it. And I was like, man. And I remember I selling it in at Guitar Center. I got $1,000 for it, which I thought was pretty good. So I was like, but yeah, that fine metallic finish is like, so choice.
I'm hoping that the Grez I ordered, because his baritones are 27.5-inch scale. I'm
That looks
hoping
so
I'll
good.
be able to do a bass 6 if I want to out of it.
That's pretty short for a bass 6.
It is short. It's real short. Normally they're what, 30?
30.
30.
Yeah, and I don't know. I might be able to make it happen. Either way,
Maybe.
I'm wondering if I should have gotten the Bigsby on it, but I didn't. So
Someone locally.
Speaking-
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was
I've been
just going to
talking
say real quick, speaking of Bigsby, I'm right now in the process of getting a parts caster built. It's going to be baritone, and it's going to have a Bigsby on it.
Oh, cool.
So
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I may actually have to break down and post a shorts when I get it.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Good. That
Yeah.
Gretsch baritone I have has a Bigsby on it. I don't play that thing enough. It's essentially a bass 6. Like that
Yeah.
thing, it's a
Yeah.
30-inch, so it's so low that it's like
Oh, yeah.
it's pretty wild.
That was the reason I went with the Dan Electro when I first got one, because it was 30-inch scale, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Squire one I have, I think that's my flavor of baritone.
27, the Cabernita one.
Yeah. Like that's the one I feel really comfortable with. I should probably sell the Gretsch at some point because I'm just not using it.
I'm mad that
But
I
it's
didn't.
cool. Is the thing.
I love the
grab it.
funkiness of
I might
Gretsch.
be
It's
interested
so
in that
good.
Gretsch as he leaves.
I think he's going to get it.
Y'all
Oh,
remember the Squire Jazz Master baritone? It was like that weird Antigua
Yeah.
color or whatever.
Yeah.
Those things are outrageous now. Like
We were just
Yeah.
mentioning that a few minutes ago. It's like it's a lot of it comes down to there's this band Loathe that's like a heavier band. My friend Andrew Baina is a big fan, and he has one. He was saying that the popularity of that band with this particular album and the known use of it exploded the value because the band was a big fan of them and made them pretty much unattainable.
Right.
Yeah.
Besides the love for Antigua Burst already, like I think that was a big factor, at least in the metal scene. If it's like a metal kid that owns it, that's probably why. It's because they saw band Loathe using it.
I feel like there was a brief moment where they were clearing them out, and I wished I'd bought one.
It was like $250.
Right. Yeah.
My friend had two of them, and he sold them both for like $250 and $350. And at the time, I was like way not in the market.
Well,
And-
Andy Ferris from the Guitar Geek channel has one, or he had one. I hope he sold it.
Yeah. Well, it's like Russian muffs. I used to be able to buy Russian muffs for under $50, and now you can't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
the other thing
gonna-
I hate about getting old.
Black Keys.
You remember old Craigslist prices.
I think I want to try to play this at church next time I play, but not explain to the band what's happening, and they'll just keep looking at me like, why does he sound so? What's going on? Why does he sound that way? Because they'll just think it's-
Worship, but it's James Bond theme music.
Right,
style
right.
Only.
they'll be like, that's an electric guitar. Why does it sound like that, Ryan? What are you doing to us right now? The bassist is just like scowling at me like,
See,
why,
this is
why
this
did
is
they come?
this is highlighting the difference between Ryan's church experiences and mine. Is that Ryan just goes in and goes, "What's the weird? Like, what can I do that's weird? Oh, I got this new effect. How do I shoehorn this in here?"
This is
And
yeah. Oh, I'll wait till Steve finishes.
and then the comment that I've always gotten, like when we were switching on and off, is like, Ryan plays a lot better than you. You only play the notes that need to be played.
No,
So it
this
was
is
like this thing where it's like, yeah, he plays better than you, but we wish he would not.
Right. No, I'm the hyperactive kid that's climbing up the walls when I play. Like, there's no rhyme or reason for what I'm playing, but I'm climbing the walls well. I'm good at climbing the walls.
Yeah.
You've been at the rock climbing gym plenty.
Right. But it's like, why am I climbing the? That's the
Right.
question. Why is he doing that? Why is he doing
ADD.
that right now? No, it is.
Oh, you were
It
talking about your Cabernita, and this is my Cabernita. I put up one of those DiMarzio humbuckers that fits a P90.
Yeah.
And the route on this guitar, I didn't have a Dremel. I didn't know that's how you're supposed to do it. So I took a regular drill and I drilled a bunch of holes all the way around and
Nice
screwed the
going,
pickup
dude.
in. But it's like cookie cutter all around those edges. So that's
Oh
why
my
the
gosh.
electrical tape lives on my trash caster.
One of
It's
it-
amazing.
It's different than with the Strat and the pickguards and stuff like that. One of my favorite Jaguars I've ever got to hold and play and see in my life. There was this band a band Steve and I were in. We used to go jam with at the Clam of God, like this old man, like kind of church jam band sort of thing. And the guitarist had this like, I want to say like a 72 Jaguar or something like that, completely removed the pick guard. So it's just, and the pickups are already screwed into the body with those. They're not floating in the pick guard.
Okay.
And the switches and stuff are screwed in the body, so it's fine. But the body was completely stripped of paint. It was raw wood that had like like decades of body oil soaked into it, sort of thing. Oh my gosh, it had the coolest vibes of any Jaguar I've ever played in my entire life. Like
I saw one like
The
that.
ultimate relic job.
right, like it was amazing. And sometimes I think about doing that to my Jag, and it's like I'd have to strip the paint too, and like it wouldn't be the same. Like this guy had mojo in a way that can't be replicated.
Well,
So-
the Jag Stang was a worship guitar player's main axe, the Kurt Cobain guitar.
Oh, was it?
There's a lore to it. Yeah, it was this guy. They tracked down who they think was the guy who had originally modified it, and he was playing in like a big worship band in the 80s and had modified this vintage Jaguar Mustang hybrid to be that guitar. And it had the hot pickups, it had everything.
Interesting.
How that guitar was is how it was when that guy played it. Because there was a clip of him playing it live. It had like one less modification. I'm like, they're pretty sure this is the guy that owned this before he did. It was like 80s worship band, 80 like old worship people with the vintage cool modded guitars was a thing.
Right.
80s was a modding crazy time period, just in general.
Oh my God.
Especially for Mustangs.
Yeah, more vintage guitars got decimated in the 80s than probably any other decade.
Oh yeah.
I think in the 70s, a lot of people
Eddie Van Halen to thank for that, I think.
In the 70s, a lot of people stripped those beautiful custom Fender colors off the guitars and went to natural wood because like natural was the look of the 70s, I guess, you know. And so yeah, that's a lot of
the 70s also gave us wood paneling, and we know how that worked out.
Like they all wanted the carvings with the
carpeting
with the sandwich multi-strip wood going in the middle. You got to have Purple Heart in there and stuff, or you got to have one of those walnut guilds with acorns and leaves carved into it.
What happened to Purple Heart? What happened to Purple Heart? Like that was like the bougie wood of choice for a while there. Now
it's hard
nobody
to work
touches
with.
it. Is that what
it's
it
hard
is?
to work with? If you get splinters or inhale the wood when it's vaporized, it's incredibly toxic to humans. So if they're working on it, they have to be really careful. Same with Wenge. It's like there's certain woods where it's like if you get a splinter, like my uncle was a luthier and got a splinter from a Wenge piece of wood, it swelled in a day. It was swelled up like the size of a dime. Because that's exotic wood that's meant to drive off, the creatures of the rainforest. So for humans, it's like incredibly deadly, and that's part of that is probably why you don't see a lot of that.
I knew that about Wenge because literally like 2 days ago, I saw a TikTok from a guitar builder who was working with Wenge, and he said every time I work with this wood, my shop looks like a murder scene, and it's all the like blood red sawdust around his shop.
Isn't Purple Heart also extremely hard?
Yeah,
so you have to have like very like typical. I don't want to say typical, but like. You think about like a pine body Strat, like you could just grab like a freaking kitchen knife and make yourself a pine body, whatever, pines are relatively speaking, it's a soft wood. Right, I've always heard that like Purple Heart is like really hard on your instrument, on your tools.
It would be really cool to have a whittled guitar body. Like give
like
some,
with a pocket knife and just
give some old timer on the porch a chunk of wood and be like, make me a guitar. Like, here's the outline of where things need to be, and just let them kind of carve at it,
So it was oak or something like that, like something really cool looking.
Yeah. Winter's too much.
I'm looking to see if this has already been done.
So I made this one. This is Purple Heart. It's like a rosewood. It really wasn't that tough to work on. Didn't ruin my tools or anything. People say that Purple Heart, like the color can fade. I made this like 10 years ago and it's still purple. Not only that, but the purple V.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Cool. Great. It's all purple.
Yeah.
I'll put it on the full screen there.
Yeah. Show it again. Oh, that looks cool.
Yeah, put it in front of your face because your camera's going to focus on your eyes.
It almost looks like a bowling ball.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That is wild looking.
It's one.
Wow, look at that. That's beautiful.
If that was like the coffee table or like the really high-end $10,000 dining table, I would not be surprised. Like, like you're at the furniture store and they're like, this is the flagship,
That's a guitar candidate. There's an Instagram account that is literally devoted to guitars where the back of the guitar is prettier than the front of the guitar.
It's so hard to see it before it's all finished and buffed out, though.
The light is so weird on this. It's a crotch where the trunk forked into two pieces, and so they cut the slab. I saw it on a showroom floor, and it already had kind of a forked shape to it. I'm like, dude, I got to turn this into a flying V. But it's a solid plank of big leaf maple. So there's no cuts, there's no glue joints or anything. It's just a solid slab of wood. And depending on how the wood hits it, it's got some burl, some curly figures, some flame to it, a little bit of curl. It's even got a little bit of spalting in a couple spots.
Whoa.
I mean, it's just a wild
Nice.
wood.
Oh, that's awesome.
I discovered that Instagram account because of this guitar.
Ah.
So, there's that, but then the back of this guitar.
Oh,
Yeah.
People who don't understand like guitar nerdom will tune into this like, I don't get it.
This is the wildest guitar. It's the binding. So first of all, it's only double bound on half of it, and then it turns into a German car.
Whoa!
And the binding is cream and tort.
We're such nerds.
That's
Look at us
so
freaking out for this. Show me the back.
I love
again.
looking at acoustic arch tops because
Yeah,
the
that's stunning.
maple that they get on the backs and how it
So
dances and everything. What's the word? Chatoyance?
Yeah, that's
it's some of those acoustic arch tops are just incredible with the amount of flame maple that they've got going on the back, because the tops are Sitka spruce, and Sitka spruce is DUL.
This end cap is from the same piece of wood as the back, so
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
Oh wow, yeah.
It's a ridiculous guitar. So the guy who made this guitar is a maker out of Texas. He doesn't build that many guitars, but I found out he's a like fancy wood supplier for boutique builders. Like Doug Cower gets wood from this guy.
Right.
So the
That
guy
makes
that I
sense.
get my stuff from is a builder too. He works at Gilmer Hardwoods. They supply like Fender and Gibson and stuff.
Oh, nice.
So, but yeah, the guy that I personally work with, he builds guitars over there too.
For a minute there, it was looking like a lot of the good woods were going to be outlawed.
Yeah.
Like in our lifetime, it seemed like all the classic tone woods were all going to be either completely depleted or outlawed. So we would be telling our kids about like, we used to have the cool wood, but now we don't. And
Back in my day.
Yeah, right.
Oh, we could
I
we
don't
could
believe
fall
you
down
ever
the
had
politics
cool
rabbit
wood,
hole
Grandpa.
so fast.
Well, it's not even politics for like swamp ash. Like, so Fender used to get all of their ash. Well, not all of, but a large
It's been
chunk
pretty
of it.
hot. I've been getting a lot of swamp ash lately.
I'm so glad someone went there.
That's what gold bond's for.
Wow.
They used to get a lot of their ash from Mississippi, down here in Mississippi, but
where the swamps are.
where swamps are. But there's this beetle that's an invasive species that has killed literally millions of trees.
Yep.
And so ash is now turning to becoming hard to buy because there's just not that much of it. It's all getting depleted. And so it's not as much a political thing as it is an ecosystem and environmental issue that the wood is literally vanishing.
So how is it
like the
that
chestnuts,
all
yeah.
these Chinese guitar makers are building their $200 guitars out of swamp ash, and Fender's like, nope, sorry guys, that's a custom shop only thing now.
I think they're faking it.
Yeah,
That could be. Yeah.
Or it's not. It's something similar, but not the same. Like
Or
there's
just
a lot of-
warehouse is full of stuff.
Yeah, it's
Well,
like they have
yeah.
some wood similar to mahogany or something like that. So they're
Yeah,
like, here you go,
exactly.
here's mahogany. You know,
But there's an ash that grows wild here in Oregon. This
There is,
Oregon
yeah.
ash. It looks very similar to swamp ash, but it's not quite as
Right.
light.
Well,
There-
personally,
about the
I think
same.
it's fine if we start going. Like, I've played some bamboo guitars at this point, and they sound great. They play great.
Absolutely.
And bamboo is so renewable.
I like the aluminum. I want to
Just
try the
don't-
aluminum thing real bad.
don't let any pandas near your guitar because then it's
Yeah.
over.
No.
Jeez.
I don't know what this wood is, but it's a backpacker. It's not going to sound, all that great, but it's cool.
I think guitar builders should be going out and trying to find woods that no one else has built an electric guitar out of.
Yeah.
And they're like, and that should be a thing. It should just like people would buy it out of curiosity, like, whoa, I've never heard of that wood. I'll buy it just because I haven't heard of who knows. I might have
Like
the only
cherry wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, so where is all this snobbery coming from that, poplar's not a good wood for guitars, basswood's not a good wood for guitars?
It's always been done this way. It's the
Right.
same reason people are so caught up on 50s Gibsons and Fenders.
They think it's because it's going to be predictable results.
Yes.
But they don't realize there's not actually that predictable of results out of the woods that
even the fancy stuff
we're
that
familiar with already, because there's different parts of the tree and different trees grow in different ways and stuff like that. And like, you know, you talk to the various builders out there and be like, oh yeah, you get one piece of mahogany, it'll be a totally different weight profile than another piece of mahogany. It came from the same tree, and it's just like it was closer to, you know, the north side of the tree or something like that. Is
heartwood versus sapwood,
right?
I'm
Or
guessing.
even just like what side of the tree was facing the river, and you know, like, who knows?
Or you look at something like pine that's super soft, but if you torify it or bake it or whatever you want to call it, it's a great tone wood. You know, Nova was building out of those for a long time. They still are, but they're also offering ash and alder now.
I mean, I'd love to have like some sort of naughty pine telly or something like that.
Yes.
I always thought that was a
well,
cool
the first tellies were pine. The very first.
They were. They were.
Yeah.
Or
so there. I'm sorry. I was just going to say real quick. Who was it who was looking for the baritone, the Cabernita baritone?
I don't know who was looking for it, but I like mine.
Okay.
I had one.
All right. The official Fender reverb shop has got Cabernita Telecasters for $400.
That's cool.
So
yeah,
they're a great guitar.
They were going up for a hot minute. Like
Yeah,
they
they
were
were.
getting up to like $700-$800 for a second, because
Yeah.
people wanted the Jazzmaster, and then they had the baritone Cabernitas. What I like is that Fender was selling the necks. They were selling those.
It's a
7-inch
good
necks.
neck. It's a good neck too. It's pretty much identical to the Fender Blacktop baritone neck that I bought off of eBay for like $450 like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And you can buy the whole guitar now with it's the exact same cut of the net. I've gone side by side with them back and forth. They did a different tint on the finish. They put a different name on the headstock. It's the same neck. Yeah. It's amazing.
well, according to this, it says there's 549 available in Lake Placid blue. So
God.
It's so many.
Oh, we're talking about are you talking about the bass 6?
no, I'm talking about
The Cabernita?
the Cabernita baritone. It's on the official.
And it's in Lake Placid? I haven't seen the Lake Placid ones.
Yeah, there's. I'm looking at it here. The official Fender reverb shop.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow, look, I hadn't seen that color. Oh, and it's got an F hole too?
Yeah.
No, that's not the that's the one with the Jazzmaster pickups. That's not the baritone. Does it say baritone?
Squire Paranormal Cabernita Telecaster Thin Line.
Oh
No,
yeah,
that's not the baritone.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
yeah.
That's all right. Those are still really cool guitars.
They
though.
are.
Yeah, that's a
I
great
wanted
guitar.
to get one of those in red and then swap the baritone neck onto it just to get the pickups.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, that's
Yeah, even though my Trashcaster has my Cabernita pickup in it,
Mhm.
I did not like those pickups for the baritone, because my first thought was, okay, downtune metal, and I just whatever my settings were, I couldn't get it to play. Like in your videos, Ryan, I've seen you get fuzz tones and stuff, like in Lucky's demo that was here earlier. It was like, wow, that sounds great. I found them noisy and like couldn't get along with them.
I leave it in the middle position, and with fuzz and high gain stuff, it's just like I'm just going for crushing chugs.
Right.
You know,
That's probably what it was. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not going for
That's the
articulate
secret.
stuff. It's you use both pickups to cancel the hum, and that's it. You
By
know?
the way,
Perfect.
Trashcaster's the best name for a guitar ever.
Yeah.
I love
Oh
it.
yeah, and it's a mono price I got for $40 on Craigslist. So it's
That's
basically
awesome.
an Indio, but
Yeah.
before they changed the name. And I've got the $12 Music Lily hot rail,
There you
stock
go.
pickup, free Cabernita pickup because I pulled it out and put a different one in my Cabernita. So
You spent more on strings on that guitar than you did everything else.
I did. And it serves a very important function actually, because I can test pedals on it, and every pedal I can flip through all 5 positions and get like all the different sounds on a basic level.
Yeah.
It actually just sits on a this is really hilarious. It sits on a stand next to my little Fender Frontman 10G, and I plug in a pedal and I turn the volume up and strum the strings like this, like slap my hand to open all the strings, and then I'll run through and make sure every knob works. And that's what it does every day. It sits there and I strum open notes and I go through and check each knob, and it does that all day, every day.
You should get like a little kick pedal that strums it for you. Like you don't even have to touch it across the room.
I do use it for demos too, but it's like it's just funny that this
Or
has
you get,
provided
like-
so much value to my life, and it was no money.
You get like a little pick that's on something that's spinning, and it just goes slow enough that like you figure out how long it takes you to get to the next pedal, and you're like, oh, it'll be there. Ring. Okay, good.
Like the Lego,
Ring.
the Lego like programmable kit with the motorized thing. Just motorize it and
Exactly.
3D print some parts out that hold a pick and strum the. Get really.
There's a lot of
technical with
effort
it.
to avoid, manually picking a guitar a couple times a day.
Variable speed control.
I actually love those cheap hot rails. They're so good, and they're $12 on Amazon. It's
That's
like
ridiculous.
I have always
And it sounds
wanted
good.
a set of pickups to be made for me that were just the single coils from a hot rail, just like
I see.
an
Just the one
individual,
rail.
Right.
just the rail, and like in my mind, I think it'd be fun to have like 6 of those in a Strat, like evenly spaced out.
Well, you could
I
get
can see
just the hot rails and split them in half.
Right, but it's like I want that the visual idea of like that super thin rail is interesting to me. Like I don't even know what it would sound like. I don't know what it would sound like, but like that visually, like I think it would look really cool. Like imagine a guitar with just one
A Cyclone.
half of a hot rail in the neck, and it's like a jazz thing or something like.
Well,
With a
it's-
Cyclone, they have the swimming pool, so you could go 6 sideways single
Right,
rails
right.
in the Cyclone. And it would be-
Ooh,
Oh,
that's an idea.
sideways. Okay.
Oh, that's an idea.
No, not sideways like this, but like slanted
Right,
like a
right.
Cyclone because it sounds good. But
Seymour Duncan makes a single rail, single coil.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, they do.
How-
It's, it's the Hot Stack Strat pickup.
Okay, drop me the link in the private chat. I want to.
But that's different though.
it's not.
Is
it's
it no?
it's
Is
not
it like
actually
half
made.
of a dime bucker, or is it a? I'm talking
No,
half of a hot rail.
I bet you could get the Music Lily ones. I don't know enough about
Yeah, I
taking
don't
apart
know.
pickups.
What is
but I bet it's
slapping right
very
now?
possible. I bet it's very possible to take apart a cheap
Someone
hot
was like
rail.
slapping their thigh.
Wasn't me.
So is it like 6 single coil pickups that would look like 3 humbuckers?
Oh, yeah, this isn't the same thing. This is a
Okay.
normal Strat size pickup. No, I want them. I want half of a hot rail. You know
Like,
how hot
that-
rails
you
are
want
the
that
size
in that
Yeah.
size.
of a
A
normal
little
single
skinny
coil.
pickup and then space them evenly, so you have 6 evenly spaced,
Right.
really skinny pickups, and it would blow people's minds. They wouldn't
Right.
know what to think about it.
And then you could
Like-
play it like a washboard. You could strum your pick.
We'll take it back to the acoustic thing. You just play drums on your 6 pickup guitar.
Right.
good grief.
Electric. Oh
Yeah,
man.
I think I asked the pickup maker about that one time. Like, hey, what if I wanted half of a hot rail? And he was like, well, in theory, I could do it. And then the conversation never went any farther than that.
I don't know if it's the plate on the back needs to be a certain size or if it's a standardized thing and someone would have to custom make it. That seems something entirely doable though.
Oh, it's,
Like-
it's totally doable.
Yeah.
I just
It's
don't know
not-
enough about
that-
doing it.
They sell the bobbins. You just have to make the plate out of fiberboard or whatever.
Yep,
Fiberboard
yeah,
and
just
glue.
make a new
Small
plate for it.
fiberboard plate. Put some.
Yeah.
Just tap a couple holes for it.
Matt
Yeah.
J is here. Hey, Matt.
Oh, hey, what's going on, man?
Looking down at your square.
Big
Brady
fan.
bunch.
Sorry, I just wanted
The
to
Brady
tell my
bunch.
girlfriend that I was even on here. So
Yeah, it,
Peavey had some single coils in the 80s that had one rail going across them, and some of the T series, I believe, like the
Yeah.
T27. Yeah.
We've got one of those on our local Craigslist right now. I think the T60. I think.
Oh, T60 is great.
Those have been
Yeah.
going up in popularity. Like
Yeah,
crazy.
they
Used to
have.
be nothing. Like
I know.
super
Yeah.
cheap in the
they
store. They come to
weigh-
the store and you're like,
Heaviest.
Somebody take
guitars
it,
on the
300
Yeah,
planet.
10 years ago, Peaveys were like considered trash, and now, everybody wants one.
Dude, when I published the episode this morning, that PV Razor was in there.
uh-huh.
I looked everywhere online to see if there was one for sale. I couldn't find a PV.
I also
Razor
looked for
sale.
one this morning after listening to the episode. I could not find one, but
Yeah.
I promise if anyone, I will look through Mississippi pawn shops, and I guarantee that I will stumble across one at some point.
I need to put it on like my eBay watch list or something like that, where I get like an email if one pops up.
There you go.
If
You know
one
what
popped up for $400 and it was a cool color, I'll probably get it. I'll probably
speaking
just
of
get
that, my dream guitar is there's a builder from Oregon. Some of you might remember Normandy guitars, which were the aluminum hollow bodies from like 2010.
Yeah.
He was local, so I got to hang out with him and hang out at his store. And I got one of the hollow bodies. It looks like a Les Paul shape, but it's all aluminum, aircraft aluminum. And what I wanted was, because aluminum necks weren't really popular at the time, or they were prohibitively expensive. So he did a V. So he did an aluminum body V that was polished chrome aluminum. And so you get that with the Bigsby, with the aluminum neck, and then you'd have this very metal guitar in every aspect. And it would be a showstopper because it would look so cool, because it's a vintage 70s style V that's all aluminum through the whole thing.
Yeah, dude.
And that would be like with a Bigsby with some cool pickups. It would be like the guitar, and it exists. Like you have to find one. But and he does make customs again. He was inactive for a few years, but he was a really cool guy. His name was Jim Normandy. And
he got kind of burned out there for a bit.
yeah, he was really, he was getting thrashed running the 2 retail stores. I remember the conversations. Yeah, I traded for mine. I traded 12 pedals for a B-stock Normandy.
Okay. I think that was the big problem with those. Is it kind of seemed like he sat in a weird price range where it kind of felt like he was probably getting really high demand because the price really wasn't high enough for the amount of work that he was doing.
Right.
Yeah, I think that, and it was his first time doing anything like this.
Yeah.
He came from a banking background, and he said what really broke him was opening 2 retail shops while trying to run the guitar company.
Oh, jeez.
And that,
he had his own shops.
Yeah, I used to go to the downtown Salem one. It was downtown Salem, Oregon, and it was a beautiful, like, huge warehouse building. And I took drum lessons there when I was in college. And super cool guy, really cool guitars. They come up used for pretty reasonable every once in a while. Yeah, but he made a Telly
local here,
single cut, and the V, and the V was my favorite. Oh, there you go.
I like the big jazz body ones too.
Only 2,000.
And they were nice. They were light. They were light too.
Is that a good price for one of these?
I have no idea.
I think that looks pretty decent.
$1,900 for the reverse, and it's the white one looks pretty classy, honestly.
To give you a comparison, Guitar Center has one for $2,200 right now.
Okay, so that's not
so it's
too
about
far.
Fair for Craigslist listening.
In white, so it's very comparable because it's the same finish.
It just blows my mind. There's Epiphones selling for $1,500, and that's a Gibson that's selling for $19. You know.
Here's that bullet. Like the guy's still trying to sell this bullet for $1,475.
There's a local Epiphone Flying V for $500, and I'm having a hard time not buying it.
Is it Silver Burst? I like Silver Burst.
Oh no, it's the natural finish one.
Oh, even like vintage looking kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did Firefly make a resonator?
Case.
I have a Firefly hard shell case.
This is a Firefly resonator. When did they make these?
I don't know.
I've never seen these.
I think it was like a really limited.
I kind of want that.
Run, and I think a lot of people tried to jump on them and then like immediately try to like jack the price up on them.
So there's that base 6 350 local.
Hey Ryan,
it's not purple is the problem. Yeah.
There's a Peavey Mantis in like super red in Dubuque, Iowa right now for $350.
Wow.
Send me the link.
More like Dubuque, Iowa, am I right?
Let me copy that link. There we go.
But I like the funky stuff. I mean, I think there's a stage we reach in your life when maybe you've had, like, this is for me. I mean, I've had over 100 guitars now. It's like you kind of had everything that was on your list. So now it's all the weird stuff that fills in the gaps where you're like, one of these days I'm going to have something, and you go out and find it and you're like, oh, this is cool.
Here's the thing. This Mantis doesn't have the Kaler. I want it for the Kaler.
Yeah. Kaler is a cool system. It's so weird. Like
it's like the one trim system I've never owned, and I like if I could get the Mantis with the Kaler, I like this one has a Strat trim on it. It's like that's not what I want. I want the Mantis with the Kaler.
I had the hybrid, so it had the set screw, so you could set it to fixed, and then you could unscrew it and use it normal. It changes the tone in a weird way, but it still has a lot of sustain. and mine had the brass roller saddle. So it was like, I don't know if they all have that, but it was just a really cool design. And I had it on a telly for a while, but anyway, it's a cool system. It's just different. It's like they almost won the arms race, but Floyd was like, it got too many high profile players. And
well, it's like beta versus VHS sort of thing.
Right.
You know?
Right. Still cool though. I like the adjustability on it is so much better for height and intonation is really, really good. Because you can make a Kaler fit any radius instead of being fixed radiuses with traditional Floyd.
This person's been trying to sell a Squier Vista, and I always stop and look at it because I always wanted a Vista, but I want the 12-string version.
Ooh.
Because the 12-string version has those split, like Fender 12 pickups in it.
Oh, yeah.
And the hockey stick headstock.
There was a local pawn shop that had one in their window for years, and I should have bought it, and then the pawn shop went out of business.
There was a $500 Fender Super, what is it, Super 6? The six speaker combo for $500, and I didn't get it, and I'm still like
Epiphone Emperor.
Super 6 and the quad reverb. I really want one of each.
Yeah.
Just because I hate myself and my back.
Yeah.
Let's look at this amp.
I like that.
1962 Epiphone Emperor. Is it dirty or is it?
Yeah,
just
it's
color?
really
That's
dirty.
disgustingly dirty.
Oh, I think it's rusted. That used to be chrome.
That's
That's
completely
crazy.
rusted. I remember
I had a
seeing
51
those
Epiphone
in-
Zenith. The guitar, the 51 Epiphone Zenith when they were USA still.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had a pickup. It was an arch top with a neck pickup, and it was in really good shape. They're not wildly hard to get a hold of, and it was all original, and it had the coolest case with the, like a, I don't know what you call it, the gauge to measure the humidity built into the case.
Hygrometer.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Look at the cool kickback leg on this.
Oh,
That's interesting.
that's rad.
And that guitar showed me old guitars do have a thing. Like there's a Mojo old guitar thing that you can feel.
Yeah.
That it's maybe not worth crazy money, but like it's worth a little bit. It's kind of a cool thing.
Wanted Washburn A20
I know.
case.
I was just looking at that.
Wow.
Like, you're desperate, dude. You're going to Craigslist. Like someone, I need a case for this. Just put it in a soft bag.
Yeah. Just get a gig bag, man. Just
Get a mono. It's gonna fit in a mono bag. Like
yeah, but
want
he also only wants to spend $100. So
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
It seems like a bass
like-
case or something would be a better option
He's like
for
the
those bigger
like a
buttons.
only fan on the planet of the Washburn A20. He's like, where's the hard case? I need a fitted hard case for this.
Oh, man. I remember in college I was flipping stuff on Craigslist like every other day to pay for food because
I am so jealous of your
Yeah.
Craigslist.
Yeah, I was like, it's been a minute since I've been on a good Craigslist.
The one here is so bad.
Oh, Ryan, a Mahar acoustic guitar.
Oh, good.
Ooh, baby.
Yeah, but a Bogner Goldfinger for what, 1,600?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't you end up burning the Mahar?
I did I?
I thought
think
you
I-
gave it to someone. I thought
I
you
don't-
sold it because that was the one that you like pulled all the frets out of, right?
That's right. I sold it. I would have been afraid to burn that thing. It was mostly chemical.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of wood in there.
French horn.
Yeah, it's $6,900.
Yeah.
That's about right.
Yeah,
that's
it goes
about
from
right.
like student to pro really
That's
quickly.
probably like a middle of the road. That's probably like
that is the
yeah.
middle of the road.
That's a
Sheesh.
French horn. I only want to learn how to play American horns.
I knew that was coming.
Ska horns.
You can
I
keep
have
your
to say
French
ska
horns and your English horns.
We only
I want
play
an
freedom
American
horns.
We call that a freedom horn now. Someone else said it first. I just said it louder. I'm
It's
sorry.
okay.
That's okay. It makes it funnier.
At least I
You know what I keep
acknowledged it.
waiting to make a comeback is a bunch of rack gear, like all
Right.
the different rack.
It's starting to
processors
happen
and
already.
preamps.
I don't know if it's really
love
going
some
to come
rock
back
song
all the way
stuff.
though. Like people like to have like a performance element with their stuff, and people are moving towards smaller travel rigs and things.
Yeah.
I'm about to get one of the new Black Star amps sent to me that's like supposed to be super lightweight. And I think
they're not supposed to be super lightweight. They are.
They are super lightweight. They're supposed to weigh like 14 pounds or something for a
question from the chat. George Price is asking if we've heard of an amplifier brand called Garnet. If it's the brand I'm thinking of.
I don't see his comment.
Like
It's
Garnet?
in there.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, Garnet's like an old.
Yeah.
In my brain, I want to say they are all like custom clones for some reason, but I haven't looked up anything about them in a long time.
It was a a Canadian amp company
in the world.
Yeah, Garnet was a Canadian amp company. I think they have re-kicked off.
Oh, I have no idea.
It's a Starfleet guitar.
That looks like
I'll come
a
back to it.
Roswell Rhodes. Have you ever seen the Roswell
It does.
Rhodes?
Yeah, that's why I looked at it.
I was like, what?
It's like a knockoff version of a Roswell Rhodes.
Oh, these are like
amps.
currently
Is this
produced.
it?
They have a website.
Yeah, this is Garnet. That's Garnet amps, but that looks like an old photo. It doesn't look
This
like
is
there's
like a
anything new.
Oh,
This is like
I
a
see.
fan
Okay,
site.
now as you click
Okay.
in, it
No,
looks like-
that's
yeah.
so that's the official site. The issue. So
Do they have the same web designer that Analog Man does?
Yeah, it kind of seems like it. So I think what it is the guy who runs it is who like runs these amps or who
There's
made
like the
these
view
amps
counter.
only has like one product.
Oh.
So if you click on the main page where it says guillotine,
He's got
that
a
will show you the
Facebook
one
tab.
product that
Okay.
they still make, I think.
Herzog?
And they don't even make it because
It is a cool look.
Supply issues.
because of supply issues.
I like the badge. I like the badge a lot.
Yeah.
That big-
Yeah.
the
That's
big
on
blocky-
the vintage ones.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm-
Like the
I'm-
old Carvin logo was the best logo. For
What's
Carvin.
catching my eye is I love how on the head, like the side panels are much thicker than the top panels. Like there's a cool like furniture element to that that I really enjoy. And the control panel, it's got like a Darth Vader 70s, early 80s control panel thing going on.
Reminds me of an Ampeg.
I
kinda Ampeg-y.
only knew about Garnet because I was looking at reverb and tremolo units for a while, and they made one that was popular.
Look at that yellow one with the black
I
stripe.
still, you know what I want that's weird is that Univox. Is it the Univox tape echo that's with the 8-track, but it's like a modified 8-track.
Yeah.
They're like $300. They're still not that bad, and I keep thinking about it, and I'm like, do I want it? I kind of want it.
I kind of want one of those too.
You know what I'm talking? It's like a Univox something,
Yeah.
and it's a
Whoa.
8-track tape.
Yeah,
I
I
just
just
shot of the front of the headstock.
That's
I
a
just-
set neck.
I just looked on reverb. The only one of those, it's the EC80A, and the only one available 750.
Look at this headstock, guys. This thing's a weapon.
Bottle opener.
I still think their best headstock.
It's the
is
double
reverse-
bottle. You can open two bottles at the same time with this guitar.
The reverse pointy, like the Sammy Douay guitar, is my favorite thing they've done in a while. But I've had a few LTDs that I liked a lot. But
I was wildly into
haven't
the
played the
body
custom
when it was
shop.
described as the Star Trek logo.
Well,
Yeah.
I think the Roswell Rhodes does that better. Even
I think it does. It's got
the
the
Gibson,
swoop.
the Gibson take on that, I think, is more attractive too. I think they were trying to do too much there with that thing. There's too many little carves and weird shapes going on.
I just saw one. Do you remember the Dean Boca 12 string? I saw you
This
pass
is
one.
this is the whole reason I came here. Here's a
there we
Peavey.
go.
$500
Oh, that
bucks.
was cool.
It's got those rail pickups,
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
beefy
Oh.
weird bridge.
T30,
Ash
man.
body.
It
Thick-
probably weighs 18 pounds.
Yeah. Oh man.
Cool ass knobs and hardware. Vintage
Those
style
are-
tuners.
They were just ahead of their time. That's their problem.
Yeah.
Ryan, if
I
your
bet
kid
those-
starts acting up, you can just put this on top of him. He won't go anywhere.
So I could never get into the bridge hardware on the like. It was that era where it's like you got to have the most mass in your
Yes.
hardware possible.
Sustain, all the sustain.
Look how far the string is hanging off the side of that fretboard there. It looks like something's crooked on this.
Oh, it looks like the slot for the bridge is slightly off.
Oh
Like
yeah, it
someone-
needs to
Yeah.
get pulled over.
Yeah. Okay.
It's probably not actually like a twisted neck or something. It's probably
But
like somebody put it in the wrong spot and filed it, or it
but
filed
imagine
itself
these
over time.
like these cool square pickups in like a modern Vox Phantom sort of build or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's a great look. That's
Yeah.
The retro thing is never. It's like retro stuff is still cool. Like
Right.
It's like it wasn't cool at the time sometimes, and then now it's come back around.
Yeah, right. Like I bought some Soviet bass pickups that I'm gonna put into some weird random stuff. I love just random things.
Ryan, did you ever have a Geiger counter, like an original one?
No, I've never owned a Geiger counter. I feel like I'd be a little bit afraid to. It would make me paranoid.
No, the pedal from WMD.
Oh, the pedal.
Not the thing.
Like, what are you asking me?
No, the yellow pedal.
You're asking me if I've gone around detecting for radiation.
Ooh, that harmony. Go back up.
Yeah.
Go
I was looking at this
back
harmony earlier today.
Oh,
It's pretty sharp.
Is that a
pretty
common
sharp
or
for
an old
$600
one?
bucks.
Oh, I would take that in a heartbeat.
Oh, that looks great.
The logo makes me think it's a later model. That's like that.
What is the...
This might be the coolest guitar I own.
Here, let me pull up. There we go.
Oh wow!
Look at
Is
that
that an old
guy.
harmony?
It
It's got
is.
sliders.
Yeah, it's got sliders instead of
That's
knobs.
amazing.
Wow.
Oops.
Bring that back. Let's see that bad boy.
I was
Sliders
trying to do
instead of
something else.
knobs.
There we go.
That is
Oh,
exactly how a guitar needs to be.
It is. Yeah.
With those mustache pickups.
Oh man.
So I bought this from Fanny's in Nashville.
No way.
Yeah, and they pulled the old shitty trim that comes on these, and they put this Bigsby on here.
Oh yeah.
And
works
they
a lot
set it
better.
up, and dude, it plays. It sounds incredible. And
That's not the original bridge, is it either?
No, it's not. They replaced it with a roller bridge.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. That's probably a good player.
Love that effort.
I
didn't see this one.
Yeah, I love
We're
this guitar.
such nerds, Scott. Like, we're staying up late
On a Monday
looking at-
night.
on
Have
Monday
Is that
night,
what it is? I don't know.
like
what night it is. It's
drooling
all the
over
same to
little
me.
details on guitars. Like, oh, look at that! Oh, look at that wood! Look at that pickup! Oh my God! What are we doing with our lives?
I used to have like a 1964 double harmony, double rocket harmony,
Yes.
and I sold it for like $200. It was pristine. I traded a busted up Taylor for it to some dude in Texas, and then ended up selling it for like $200 because I was desperate for cash.
Oh, wow.
That sucks.
Yeah, if you've ever had to
Wow.
do that, I have to pay something today, and you're in the Guitar Center like an hour before they close, and
Yeah.
been there a few times.
Well, I feel like they're worth more now, but like back then it's like probably 8 years ago, so like guitars were just downhill, like nobody was paying up for anything. So
Yeah, it was a weird time. I remember it real well because I was between college and getting a real job, and oh man,
Yeah, I wish
rough
I'd
time.
known how shit was gonna go crazy back then.
Oh,
The
yeah.
things I would have stockpiled.
Yeah, I
But,
just would have
like,
bought like 20 black Russian muffs, and I just would have had them in my closet. Got them for $40 a piece, and then that would have been
Like
No.
everyone
Bitcoin.
thinks like they would go back if they could go back in time. They'd buy dozens of clones or whatever. But if you bought, here's the thing. There's a butterfly effect of it. If you bought enough clones, you would erase the possibility of it becoming desirable because the people that made it desirable wouldn't get their hands on it because you hoarded them
Oh
all.
my gosh.
And then you'd be stuck with all these pedals that no one wants
Look at Ryan getting all philosophical over
See,
here.
and no one's heard of.
You see,
But it's
I'd have
also like-
gone back and bought like 10 Bitcoin back when they were like
Right.
600 a piece.
No, I was aware of it when it was 50. So
Oh my god.
imagine how much I kicked myself.
I had
No,
this
I
had this.
was reading articles about Bitcoin when people were buying pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
It was.
I had this
it was around.
conversation with a friend of mine recently, and I just had this thing in my head, like if you could go to like somewhere else in your life, where would you go? And then it turned into this whole thing about like, how big of a change could you make before you basically wouldn't have the life that you currently have? And that's when I realized all I really wanted to do was go back to March 2020 and buy GameStop. Like 2 years. It's like only 2 years, so I'm not erasing
Right.
my family.
Right,
All that
right.
stays the same. It just means
Yeah,
that
just
in
back enough, yeah. Oh,
6 months or whatever later, I am a very, very rich man.
Right. But yeah, you think about going back in time.
Super rich Steve.
And it's like, here's the thing: like, if you go back before you have your kids, you're never going to have your kids again.
Yeah, exactly.
That sperm's never going to connect with that egg. Like, it's a mathematical improbability. So you're never going to have your kids again. So if you go back before you have kids, you're done.
But like Tim mentioned, said if you didn't have them, somebody else would do. You'd have somebody else that you'd love equally.
Right, but like if you're stepping in that time machine and choosing to go back in time, you're erasing your children.
Yeah.
And how do you do that as a parent? Unless they're really acting up, and then it's easy.
Not necessarily. My scenario too was that you would know, like, so you would be going back in time and reliving the last 2 years,
right?
Or however many years you went back, you would relive that with the knowledge of with like your knowledge of 2022. You could oh man, I really wanted to like go back and be a cooler person in high school. So you would go back and inhabit your 17-year-old body or whatever with, a 40-year-old's knowledge.
But
really confused and sad.
Giving 17-year-old Ryan the confidence of 40-year-old Ryan, I would destroy the planet.
Well, guys, it's been 2 hours. I gotta go. Thanks all. Thanks
later.
Thanks everybody.
Night, Imp.
Like I
My
would
phone's
be
gonna die
a
anyway.
Biff Tannen monster. Like
I was gonna say I would go full Biff Tannen and bet everything on the Braves winning the 2021 World Series because the odds on that were so astronomical that I'd make bank on $100.
Right. I wouldn't not even doing that stuff. I'd just be like, I wouldn't be the timid, afraid to quit my job kid anymore. I'd be like, this sucks. I'm gone. I'm going to go do something else. And I would be a totally different personality,
And then you'll cause a butterfly effect because that guy that you were supposed to bag groceries for isn't going to get out of the store on time. And he's going to get in a car accident that causes another car accident. And then
that guy was going to cure cancer.
Mohu Cooper's got the real play here. Just go back and not watch the new Disney Star Wars.
That's a hot take.
All right. I think we're at the end here. I think Justice had a good idea. It's been 2 hours. Oh, what is that?
Aluminum Stratocaster.
Ooh.
Oh, that's why it looks that way. It's reflective. I see.
No, I think. Is it reflective or does it have like an etching on it?
Yeah, it looks like
there's an etching.
Signatures.
Interesting.
It looks like clouds.
All right, guys, let's call it a night. Thanks to everyone who tuned in. This has been a lot of fun. I should probably do this more often, like once a week or something like that, because
you need to find a night. There isn't one, but you need to find a night where you're not running at the same. Because I think Ben Coombs' live stream.
There's no way. There's no way to. Yeah, everyone's streaming all the time.
You can find. There's one. There's at least one.
I don't want to commit to like. I don't.
No, don't commit to
like a day. It's like
just when you
want to
do it.
Go live. Here's the thing: if other channels don't want me to go live at the same time as them, then they need to invite me to be on their show.
There you go. Well, there it is.
What it comes down to.
Last time you were on Phil's show, everyone.
Oh, you're going to blame that on me.
Yeah.
You're not going to mention that you were on there too. Oh, it was Ryan's fault that everyone hated it.
No one complained about me. They only complained about you.
All right. With that.